But for sure, those big heavy hitters, obviously, they breezed through when it came to that group stage, and they're looking fierce.
And when you talk about heavy hitters, I'm glad that we got a chance to see Power right there in that replay, because that team was just oozing confidence when it came down to survival stage, making sure they just control every single circle. They still have 4 players alive, playing that 1-2-1 split, making sure they third party as well. And when we're talking about confidence, I mean, we saw what Horob's been able to.
Right,
fourth
right. I mean, we have to keep in mind, by the way.
कैसे भाई उनकी बहनों क्या हाल चाल है टिक्को ना कुछ और अभी हो वेलकम बैक टू द फटारीम वेलकम हो गया भाई लोग दोबारा लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो जल्दी
region. We had orgs like IEA, strong players like Crypto. It seemed like this fourth Thrives roster could be the one to make it happen.
4 components here working as one to try and get themselves glory here for PMWC, but oftentimes these teams all coordinated very together. It's not just about their teams, it's about family as well.
يمكن كنت غلطان بأن الشجاعة ليس فقط بالفوز ولكن بعدم الاستسلام. الحقيقة عندما أول مرة قال لي أريد يصير لاعب أنا شجعت الحقيقة، وكنت أميل دائما للدراسة. لحين في يوم من الأيام أجا ابني خبرني قال لي بابا اكو موضوع عايز احكي وياه. قلت له تفضل ابني. قال بابا اكو اتفاق انه يسوون عقد وياي كلاعب
الو क्या हाल चाल है टिक्को
الالكترونيه ولازم يريدون
موافقه. क्या हाल चाल है؟
يعني الحقيقه انا ما كنت مقتنع بالموضوع بالبدايه، ولكن وضح لي الامور وشاف لي شلون صيغه العقد، وقريت العقد وتفاصيله دقيقه كانت من جهة قانونية مرتبة. يعني
الحجي أنا هنا، أنا الدبابة والمدفع، أنا الرامي، أنا القوي وأنا المحامي.
العام الماضي شفت الخيبة الأمل في عينه، ليس بموضوع الخسارة، ولكن كان أمنيتي أن يحقق أمنيتي يعني بالمباراة، وأنه أنا ما أعرف شو أقول له. يعني ما يعني قدمت له الشيء اللي يقدر أن يفيده. بس أتمنى كنت لو شايفه أني أو متكلم وياه قبل البطولة.
वेलकम हो गया भाई लोग जो आ रहा है लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो जल्दी स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो.
أنا فخور بيك وبلعبك بإمكانياتك وأتمنى أن تتطور أكثر وأكثر. مو لازم ينتظر لحد ما يفوز حتى يحس إنه أنا شايفه متابع له. هو اللي خلاني أفتخر بيه اللي عاد نشاطه ووقف من جديد وأدى المباراة الجيدة.
ये अबूद का बाप लग रहा है.
أريد يعرف إن كان فاز ولا خسر، إنه أني دائما داعمه في كل مباراته، وإن شاء الله أتمنى له كل التوفيق.
गेम शुरू करो.
هالمرة ما راح أتأخر، إن شاء الله دائما وياه وأواكب وياه وأحضر كل مباراته إن شاء الله وأدعمه للفوز. وأنا متحمس أن أروح وأشجعه وأكون دائما أول الداعمين إليه في كل مباراة يقدمها إن شاء الله.
هنا البداية الآن، هنا الانطلاق الآن، باور من جديد وحجي
जी सलमान भाई वेलकम हो गया भाई जो आ रहा है लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो जल्दी स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो. अब मैच शुरू होने वाले हैं.
موجودين هنا واحتفل انا
وعائلتي
في
المركز. करो भाई
هذا الشيء
पाकिस्तानी है आप इंडियन को करते रहते हो, उधर ना रहा करो, इधर ही बैठो.
हेलो बाबा
आज मुझे लगता है इंडियन तो नहीं आएंगे है ना
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वसलत والله हसन
मुझे नहीं लगता कि इंडियन पाएंगे आज क्योंकि इंडिया की टीम तो बढ़ गई
السلام عليكم شلونك عيني
نورت الرياض
شلون صحة
كيف صحتك؟
الله يسلمك الله يحفظك بارك الله فيك مشتاقين الله يحفظك هلا عمر
ابو عابد
بهرانكم
شكرا الحمد لله والشكر بس نتمنى نحقق الغاية من السفرة
هذا فلة تنتنا تنتن
قلبي الله يساعدك حبيبي مشتاق لك حجي هاي مفاجأة سويت فيها أنا جهودهم كلها مشكورة الله يخليك الله يسلمك
حبيبي
خلنا نسلم على الفريق
جلدي مات
خلنا نسلم على الفريق خلنا نسلم على الفريق
كيف الحال؟
حبيبي
الحمد لله سلام
شلون يبدي
شلونك طيب يا مرحبا
شلون صحتك؟ زين ان شاء الله
الحمد لله السلام
بس قبل كل شيء انا الحقيقه الانسان بلا صحه ما يسوى كل شيء انا اريد اهم شيء على حكايه المدرب الصحه انا دكتور اله جايب له دواء يخلصه من الحاشي باشي والشغلات اللي هذا
वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम भाई लोग जो आ रहा है लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो जल्दी स्ट्रीम को लाइक कर दो चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो और भाई जान यहीं पे बैठ के मैचेस देखो
وعيب مال PUBG انه يفسحون المجال للهوايه يعني ليس فقط هي الدراسه مرات الدراسه ما تواكب الهوايه تشوفه يوصل الى مرحله طبيب مهندس ولكن تبقى هوايته فلان شيء فما يتوفق بعمله الاختصاصي ولكن عندما يكون الاختصاص مع الهوايه يكون هو الافضل وينجح له انا اقول لابني الحجي ان انا فخور بيك وبلعبك بامكانياتك واتمنى ان تتطور اكثر واكثر يمكن كنت غلطان بان الشجاعه ليس فقط بالفوز ولكن بعدم الاستسلام.
A beautiful bond that transcends everything here in PUBG Mobile, and there's many like it throughout PUBG Mobile as well. You know, at home, all of these families watching their combatants, watching their sons try and find themselves a spot and become the PMWC champion here. A touching piece, gentlemen.
It really is, and I'm hoping that with all of this that we have put behind that amazing piece, that Power will actually be able to convert and show what they were able to do in survival stage. Because that team, I mean, they ended up surprising me how much they could just change from one stage to the other from just a one-day break.
Yeah, I mean, looking at Al-Haji in particular, this guy has been playing PUBG Mobile Esports for years now. He's been on top of his region in MENA. It would mean the world to him if he can finally claim an MVP award here at PMWC. And if anyone can do it from this region, Al-Haji is the man that can make it possible.
He's definitely got a lot to think about when it comes to, you know, his father supporting him at home alongside the huge prize pool that is available here for PMWC as well. As we mentioned prior, $1.7 million with $500,000 for that first place. All of these teams competing for that. And this, again, we've mentioned the big heavy hitters coming out of the group stage. Obviously, I mean, our Chinese teams here as well coming on in to try and get themselves towards the front. Weibo as well as Thunder Talk looking hit and miss in some scenarios. I think they really need to solidify their place to become the champion here.
The biggest surprise for me, I expected Weibo to be here. When it came down to Thunder Talk, I think I was expecting Thunder Talk to end up going to survival stage. Just based on what we've seen out of this team in the past global events, they always come in with a lot of hype. They always come in with just everybody thinking that they're going to smash through the lobby, but that's not the case. But for this event, it seems like they might actually be bringing it.
Shut your mouth and let's go for gameplay,
Esports years ago, where they got the back-to-back PMGC championship, we've never really seen a Chinese team dominate in these globals. And now looking at Weibo specifically, you have Suk, you have Order. They could be the ones to take it back over to China.
Yeah, they've got to step back up from former glory for sure here. Well, we do have Neptura and Blank on stage ready to go, so let's hear from them before we get to the grand finals.
We're here in the beautiful TW Esports arena where the survival stages and group stages just took place.
Yeah, at the end of the survival stage, we had 8 teams' keys crushed in this beautiful machine we
got in front of us right here. Like, share and subscribe कर दो जल्दी stream को like कर दो, channel को subscribe कर दो and wait and watch.
You'll see more of
matches शुरू होने वाले हैं.
But thinking about those finals, we do have a brand new format coming to PMWC, Blank.
We do. It will be the smash ruling. It will be the day 2 scoreline of our top team plus 10, and once you hit that, that will be match points. So let's say you end day 2 on 100 points, day 3 you hit 110.
Stream को like कर दो सब लोग यार एक बार मिलके जल्दी stream को like
chicken dinner online. But not to worry.
Not to worry indeed, Blank. If that doesn't happen, the top team at the end of those 6 matches on day 3 will be crowned our PMWC champions.
We're going to head over and check out some of those storylines because the competition was absolutely fierce. But let's take a look in with Ida.
I think them coming in and actually booting out Regnum Karya down to the survival stage for Ida, I feel like that really is just based on the consistency they were able to achieve over the group stage. We saw Regnum Karya not be able to hold up to the standard that Ida was putting forward, especially in the last day when they were able to just come in with a lot of eliminations, a lot of consistency through there. So again, Ida just able to come out on top.
Merhaba ben Eren. Oyun 2 Eren 7. TW oynuyorum. 17 yaşındayım.
Okay, Sanlu Patamash. You know who I am.
Türk takımlar arasında en az deneyimli olarak biz son maç aldığımız puanla zaten çıktığımızı biliyorduk. Ama böyle biraz daha sonralarda bekliyordum ben. Yine 8. olarak bitirdik. Yani öyle bayağı iyi hissetmiştik kendimizi. Bence Türkiye bu konuda bayağı yani üst seviyelere çıktı. Artı Avrupa olarak da çıktık. Türkiye'nin de Avrupa'nın prestijini arttıracağını düşünüyorum.
Even though all 3 Turkish teams did make it to the grand finals, I still have concerns about whether they are a true contender against a lot of the other teams in the finals, just because the consistency with a huge amount of points just wasn't there over the various stages we saw all those teams in. For Ida, I think they have a very good chance of proving me wrong, but at the same time, I will be watching to see kind of how they adapt to the finalist teams. I think if Ida play similarly to how they played in the group stage, I think they have a huge chance of doing very, very well in the grand finals. I personally would just like to see them be a little bit more dominant to add to that foundation already.
Oyun planımız yine aynı olacak. Yani son alanlara doğru yaşayıp son alanlarda agresif oynayıp kill'i son alanlara toplamaya çalışacağız. Finallerde hedef ilk 5 ama şampiyonluk işine yarışacağız. Yapabiliriz. Yapamayacak bir takım değiliz. Finalleri bekliyoruz.
That's gonna get me in trouble now. Based on how they played in the group stage, as much as I enjoyed their performance, I feel like in the finals with all the other teams competing now, I feel like they're going to have maybe a 10% chance of winning.
Bizim takımdaki en büyük şey çoğu zamandır birlikte oynadığımız için bir tek Emre değişti. Ama aramızdaki uyum sayesinde bence oyunda nerede ne yapacağımızı bildiğimiz için kendi oyunumuzu sergileyebiliyoruz. Bizi destekleyen herkese teşekkürler. Bizi desteklemeye devam edin.
The question is, will Ida be one lifting the trophy at the very end, or will it be one of these teams? Everyone has an opportunity. Everyone has a chance. We have ourselves 18 matches potentially to cross over before we do get to that thing, of course, to find out who's going to be our PMWC champions. That said, though, let's take a look and figure out look at some of these teams that are towards the top as we take a look at our Aramco power rankings as well between all of these teams, because we have some favorites, we have some contenders, we have some dark horses that might be challenging for #1 here. So, Max, start us off. What are you thinking?
I mean, my champion team that I predicted here is going to be Horror Esports from Nepal. And when it comes to CSA teams, all the CSA teams could take it for Thrive's Horror Esports, Alpha Gaming possibly. But Horror Esports, the reason why I did pick them this time around is looking back at PMSL CSA, they adapted their game style really well around the smash rulings.
Yeah.
In particular. Sure, it didn't work out, unfortunately, because they got overtaken by Alpha Gaming. But teams that show willingness to change their entire game plan on the last day when you are in that smash zone to try and wrap up the tournament,
yes,
it's hypes up a lot what Horror Esports could do here in these finals. So because of that alone, and also how good they are as a macro team, they're going to be my pick to win it all.
How many replies did you get to your prediction?
Actually, like genuinely in like the hundreds. I did not.
In the hundreds?
I did not open my DMs. I will show you later if you want.
Well,
it's a massive list.
Don't open it.
I'm leaving it.
How about yourself, Seven? What are you thinking?
By the way, I saw those replies because I didn't post about his prediction and everyone is just roasting him. With my prediction, I mean, I actually ended up picking 4 Thrives. I have enjoyed the
good choice.
The growth progress of these players, not just now being in 4 Thrives, even in PMGC.
यार सल्लू बदवा अगर लाइट ना जाए यार मौसम भी ऐसा ही
You
है.
see the progression for these players, but so far here at PMWC, they have just shown me so much. The aggression that they have been able to showcase. If I do have to nitpick with this team, is something that we've been able to talk over and over again, and it comes down to just their indecision. It's only happened twice, but it was very obvious, and I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case coming into the grand finals, that they're able to just go for a decision, make it, and just send it.
And the fact that now Noki has stepped up as the way he has done it in the initial stage of this tournament. Every single player is on the ball. And we saw them just a few days ago, actually. And the first question that for me is like, did you pick us, Max, man? Well, I did not pick you.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Yeah,
so even they're on it.
Well, of course, some of those players have an opportunity to break some records. Some of these might be difficult to break, though, as we look historically at what's been happening here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. People like Tony K, 53 elims in these scenarios. I mean, those kinds of things are very, very difficult to try and catch up, especially Seven, with the lobby getting more impressive and more impressive as years go by. It's hard to get those kind of positions.
I'm looking especially at the wins in a day. We have had so many teams, especially throughout this tournament, get 2 wins in a single day. I'm hoping that a team is going to be able to break that. I don't know which team is going to be because this lobby is just so stacked.
Yeah, at least Vampire can't defend their position up there anymore. They're not even
not here.
7.
Correct.
So that's going to be quite tough to defend. But I feel like we can have a few broken, but the records are so high that a few are going to remain there for maybe a few years.
अबे चल पड़ यार क्या है
Well, final thoughts before we really get into things here. We're just waiting for the opening ceremony. Max, aside from your pick, who else do you think is going to be able to ascend?
I want to look at Alter Ego, especially because you're going in Sanok, Northwestern Ireland. You know, you had that Clash versus Thunder talk. Is that going to be happening? I've heard apparently they might be going to boot camp. So if they make that change, I'm hyped to see Alter Ego play that position.
Oh my days. Seven, your thoughts?
It's going to be APG. Are they going to continue to make that mistake with the docketing, separating or not? Because if they don't, oh man, that is going to be a very dangerous team.
They are the only Alpha in our grand finals. Unfortunately for Alpha 7, they will not be a repeat world champion here for the World Cup. And now, out of our 16 teams, who is going to be able to take it? It is time for day #1 of the grand finals here for PMWC, where one team will ascend to #1.
कर दो स्टार्ट ओए भैन दी छकी तोड़ी होने लगा
defending champions will not be going through to the finals.
Absolutely insanity.
This is a sad sight for Alpha 7.
Twenty-four teams embarked on this journey, live from the Qiddiya Esports Arena in the heart of Riyadh, fueled by ambition from all corners of the world. But now, they are here. 16 teams will land on one battlefield until one team is left standing. My name is Barney Banks, and I am your host, and welcome to the PMWC, and it is of course the grand finals live from the 2025 Esports World Cup. $3 million, one stunning trophy, and a legacy that will forever be forged onto the totem. And so, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming your finalists to the main stage, starting with EWC. Galacticos! Undertalk Global! Team Falcons! Team Secret! Non-Shin Red Force!
चलो टीम रेड आ गई
Alpha Gaming! E Arena! Weibo Gaming! Regnum Carrier Esports! Esports! For Thrives Esports!
आगे चलाते आगे
Flux Esports!
ये आई है पहले नंबर वाली टीम
Ego Ares!
जो पोजीशन था जितना पोजीशन थी उतना बुलाते टीम को अल्लाह की बेईमान कुत्ते
And finally, Hora Esports! Gentlemen, this is more than just a finals stage. This is a legacy in the making, so buckle up, because history is about to be written. It is time for the grand finals of the PMWC.
Every single one of these players, every single one of these teams has the opportunity to strike out at that trophy. Will they do it, though, across the next 3 days? We're about to find out. We're about to get the games rolling. Let the games begin as we start to break down what is going to be going on here for day number 1 of the Grand Finals for PMWC. Joining me, Seven as well as Maxman, to talk about these phenomenal teams. And we have got ourselves an opportunity to see how it's all going to go down. Let's start with one of the names that really does come to the forefront when it comes to international excellence.
Welcome to the stream by log like, share and subscribe the stream को like कर दो channel को
finally we've seen Regnum Curry make it back into the finals. Of course, our reigning PMGO champions able to claim victory over there, and they're back once again. And let's keep in mind, Silas, one of the biggest storylines in PUBG Mobile esports history. He won a PMGC. He's won PMGO at the start of this year. Could he take another trophy here in Riyadh at PMWC? If he can make it happen, he would be the only player in the world to have ever achieved that.
And for Regnum Curry, it comes down to not getting complacent, especially they have a great day 1. From a conversation that I got a chance to have with Silas, he said the reason why they didn't make it to grand final straight from group stage was because on that second day they did get complacent. They got that win, they felt like they had already qualified, and they slowly just trickled down that leaderboard. On top of that, going into this lobby, when we get to Miramar, there might be clashing with 4 Thrives. It's going to be something that we got to keep a close eye on.
In the grand final, I don't think you can be taking these kinds of clashes. You've got to be so careful when it's this kind of money on the line, when it's this kind of prestige on the line. And speaking of prestige, on the opposite side of things as well, a roster like Alpha Gaming, they're here in the final, Max. We know they mean business. We know they can win it all.
The only team to ever have 3 global tournament MVPs on the roster. Doc, PMGO MVP of this year. You have, of course, the side of Top. You have the side, of course, of Zyol that won over in Turkey the MVP award. This is a starred roster that can make anything possible. They still have some minute mistakes that happen, especially with Doc playing split. We're going to keep repeating it. But generally, if they can fix that one glaring issue, this team could be the best team in the world.
And it's not even Doc just being too split from the team. Something that they were running into group stage, it came down to them not being able to regroup in time. At times, Doc was being able to play it perfect, but then the rest of the squad was actually even further away from him, and he was able to scout.
Well, gentlemen, it's time. Let's get to it. Game number 1. Are you ready? Hold on to your seats, ladies and gentlemen, out there around the world. PMWC Grand Finals begins now.
And Kolaris has hit the nail on the head. If you are live in the arena, it's time to click those seat belts in, strap yourself down and be ready, because these games are about to be intense. For the viewers at home, you need to be prepared. 16 teams enter the arena blank, but only one at the end of these 3 days will walk away our new champion.
And you better strap in, because it's going to be a bit of a bumpy ride going through these next 3 days of games. Smash Rule will be engaged on that final day, but by no means is out of reach right now in day 1, day 2. You want to be setting the pace, setting that scoreline over towards day 2 in first place to give you that big chance to end the whole tournament early for everyone else and crown yourself the victor. But let's reset, let's calm things down, let's pull it back. Remove that telescope from the situation, because we want to see the wider picture here in these games.
Yeah, that's right. Attach the wide angle lens and get your focus on the squads, what this event means, and of course, on a game-by-game nature, the shift in the standings. We could sit here and talk all day about what we saw in the group stage and survival stage, but the difference is, Blank, it's what you do now in the present moment.
It's time to go mobile. Sandhawk starting off. Ruins closest to the plane path. We'll see what happens over in Ruins, because it has been a contentious area of the map for Sandhawk for quite some time so far. Teams start to drop in, very much a northwestern plane path too, so Thunder Talks over towards Camp Alpha. No teams would like to pick up that position. Alter Ego drops similarly in position, but looks like this time around they're heading out to the east.
Can't wait to see what the form's going to be looking like as well for obviously the teams that didn't have to play the survival stage. Skipping that, you mentioned 2 huge names there, right? 4 Thrives, they looked amazing. Great teamwork, setting themselves up for chicken dinners, topping the charts when it comes to the points. But that's a lot of similar storylines that you could paint over to Alter Ego. Rosemary, but it's not just him, is it? That entire squad playing off each other.
देखो एक नॉक फिनिश हो गया 40 का दूसरा नॉक ये तो बैंड दी सीरी उतरती मरने लग गए
into contest with Power Esports, both teams taking heavy casualties. Either side, Power 3 players, 1 knock, 2 remaining 4 Thrives, who had been living it large in Hearts-In on Sanhok for a long, long while in those group stages. This time around, Power able to get back up to 3 and laying claim here on the map for Sanhok. 4 Thrives, by no means an easy journey to the top for them.
Let's dial into this fight. See how it's going down on the ground floor here. We get their POVs. As you said already, it's a rough start for the 4 Thrives. Only a duo remains. Falak in position here. Al-Haji. We saw that lovely content piece setting up the day. Let's see if he's able to give us some of that energy. The excitement, the emotion that he brings to the lobby here in PUBG Mobile. Meanwhile, Rosemary as well, causing issues already there.
Rosemary was a name that we were looking to massively point out here in the finals. Haji with the long range shots here from the DBS, not quite connecting. Noki's got to run off the positions. The Molotov comes through. Here, forced them into this building. It's good shepherding coming through from Power.
Vahidin up close, lots of damage onto Noki, leaves him relatively low. It's a DBS in hand, so even if he's low on health, he could still make a play, but easy setup in the back line. Didn't opt to throw out the nade, instead dashes in the molly, burns the stairway out, it's right on target, he's taken out a commission, and now this gets even harder for Falak. Already, this is a brutal start for them in the opening game.
Falak's gonna stand tall here, try and go for
Falak
something
tera
at large.
1v3 है तेरा ही Falak
Hearts-In is not free and open right now for 4 Thrives. I think that they're just going to keep dropping this from day to day. I don't think either team wants to give up Hearts-In here. To find that final play. Now Falak had a big amount of influence in that group stage for 4 Thrives. Let's see how well he can step up to the plate here versus Power, because you know this team is not going to go for the 1v1s. They're not going to send in like Lemmings. That's going to be a very difficult task. S12K though, gets the reload on it. They hear it, trying to bait them out here.
Nice!
First connection's good. That's how Haji down. Baited in, looking to see if he can get the follow-up tap off so he could literally remove it.
Oh, two down!
Wow, that could have been real bad.
Yeah, that could have been very, very bad. Great setup though on the doorway, right? One either side. As soon as Al-Haji went down, they completely changed the game plan. They sent in the hammer first and it was not enough, so they had to go for something a little bit more strategic. But that was good. From Falak, at least that puts a little bit of fear in Power. Now that 4 Thrives understand that this is likely going to happen every game, they can be prepared for this next one. But Sanhok.
यार
is a great map for putting up big points early on and getting that initial lead, especially at the start of any grand finals.
Oh yeah, dream scenario for Power as well. You know, it looked like it wasn't really the true test of themselves in the group stage, but what we saw unleashed throughout survival stage, that's where they fight. It's what we saw last year as well. It feels like they sort of dialed it up a little bit. You know, they assessed the lobby and realized, look guys, we just need to play to our strengths. So much of that carries on over here. It's a nice hot drop, good result in the end, only losing 1 player in Ragnar. Could have gone bad, but you avoid that outcome, so they're going to be happy. For 4 Thrives, that's an instant red mark, though. It's one of those games where you're thinking, okay, got to sit here, watch the flow of the action. Half an hour later, we'll be back, and you imagine they'll probably have something to say against Power throughout the course of playoffs now.
Yeah, it's a big blemish, definitely a big blemish coming through. But we know that they can bounce back. They had a little bit of a slip over towards their final matches. They still put up a huge scoreline, right? And I think if it wasn't for Alter Ego just blasting out control, they would have remained in first place. So saying they had a slip is maybe a bit too bold from my camp, honestly. Fireflux, though, this is a team that did not slip up at all. They just kept on climbing rung after rung on the ladder over in survival stage. That's why they looked fabulous. And it wasn't a case, in my opinion, that they looked great because it was weaker teams. I think for Fireflux, they had a real improvement over those 2 days.
Oh yeah, you think about the positioning, the way they were playing off one another. Similarly to obviously what we were describing there and highlighting as a good setup from Power, right? Those close quarters crossfires, the way they're playing off one another. That's what Fireflux were doing very consistently, but the rotations were on point. It did feel like they were hitting a skill ceiling of there's a lot this team can give, and we were just seeing it.
It was super cool to me because I think in a lot of Fireflux's games in the past, it's usually either a case of you highlight Scarface or you highlight Ketch. It's never both players at the same time. I think here at PMWC, it is a wonderful experience to be able to watch Fireflux and see that both Ketch and Scarface are both on their A game at the same time. It's a rare scenario, but they're bringing out where it counts here on the main stage. Weibo trying to rotate through here. This is over towards the eastern side around Yangon Galacticos. Already some heavy hits been sent their way.
And if you're unfamiliar, of course, as well, opportunities for some, let's say, interesting gameplay from them when it comes to the weapon choices. But we'll see if they decide to pull that out in what is going to be a very important set of games here.
Yeah, I'm trying to see it for Sook, the bow, the explosive bow.
Oh, yeah.
It looked cool, right? I think that we didn't necessarily see the true power of it because a lot of it was zoning and spacing for the team, as opposed to finding the knocks. Where he did find the flushes with it, it was a wonderful moment. You know, we got to really get hype about that. But here in these matches, you wonder if he'll favor the DBS, which is much more meta here in PUBG Mobile. Over towards the northwest side, though, very hard shift. We pull this one close to the northwest island, but not all the way over towards those confluence compounds. Alter Ego's in position to snatch that one up, and Eda's weakened earlier after Rosemary was able to have a little hello down towards that south side. They send one player in, but can they withstand the weight of Alter Ego as they move in from the east?
A lot of trust in that team. Feels like it doesn't matter if one player is popping off, they're able to sort of pass the baton quite quickly. A lot of respect for one another as well, and obviously that can go the extra distance, but seeing Rosemary already be able to get the blood pumping a little bit, it bodes well for this roster. They've been very exciting to watch. Ooh, Fireflux taking a knock there as well. That's over from Hora.
Eda finding Moana, though, which is a really, really good start for them. It depends whether Moana actually goes down or not, because they need to reset on this one, but it is Weibo bringing up the rear here as Yangon Galacticos opted for a wild rotate over towards that northwest side, trying to gamble on this one, understanding that it's going to be extremely packed down towards the south. They'd rather not play with that. Gamble on a northwest shift. Power finding Silas. That is Al-Haji coming into contest as Regnum Kaya made a big rotate over towards the northwest side as well on that bridge, and Power was comfortable just to wait that one out. And Regnum Kaya starting to get dismantled as Power puts more points on the tables.
Easy got visual contact though, up towards the top of the hill there. The third party arriving, Yangon Galacticos, to catch whiff of this and want to see if they can steal away any points from the head-to-head from Power and Regnum Kaya. They immediately try and reposition, play off the cover they've got provided. Easy's looking for the confirmation as well. Behind the tree, just tucked in for now. Hora from the sidelines, seems like Joker's showing up once again for E-Arena.
This is a horrible push for a lot of teams on the southeast side. Your E-Arena, Fireflux, Hora, APG, and Team Seeker are all banding around Painan at the moment. And there's only so long until that starts to pop off and the tension snaps in that region of the map. Already we're losing more and more players, and that's Hora out, getting sandwiched between 3 teams. They desperately tried to fend off against Fireflux, and if they're able to do that, they could have maybe moved out west, but they were penned in.
Horror story with Easy walking away with another pickup on that one. 6 elims already for Power. These are the sort of games they thrive on as well. It feels like this team very easily goes once they get momentum. You know, they feed that hot hand, keep it building. It's nice to see for the Power fans out there.
It's funny coming out survival stage, right? It's where they shine a lot of times. And he wouldn't really be a PMWC without Power making it through survival stage, so I'm glad they do make that happen. No. King finding a shot over towards Rita. Is that from Weibo? Oh, Thunder Talks here on the western side, yeah. They do have good control. This is coming down from Camp Alpha earlier on. Ida, like we said before, did drop a player earlier on to Alter Ego, who have moved across, as you see here on the map. We'll check out where this next circle goes. Yangon Galacticos hopes it goes to the northwest side. It's not meant to be, though, as we start to come back down onto the South Island. Some fantastic compounds to play around here. Pretty difficult to get out from where Falcons is playing as you wrap around. They can be quick, though. They might be able to get some of these compounds down towards the south side, potentially play some of the ridges, but you can see DRX has clear sight lines over to them.
And this is a similar early path as well from Falcons. Obviously, the Sanor games we saw in survival stage from then, they were opting to play far slower, avoid altercations early if they could, and that was working for them for placements. Again, here, though, you can have a lot of teams with targets on you. DRX losing a man very early into this one with their rotation, I believe, against Fireflugs. Going to be in position to see if they can snatch away any points, dealing some damage, chipping down the Falcons. Would be a nice way to get started for them. See the roam up from Power again as well. Always on our screens at the minute. Thunder Talks here playing inside the compound. You get one clean knock from King coming alive already.
Vahiden dropped. Thunder Talks do have nades to play around with, so can send them this way. And there's only so many places you can play around this coastal area. DRX is finding a huge amount of success from that high ground they're playing towards the center of the circle at the moment. It's so hard to pass by them, especially for Nongshim Red Force, who are currently trapped over towards Ruins. Hoping, praying that it moves over towards Ruins side on those central circles. King will pick up Vahiden. Al-Haji is down, and Power's run looks to start to come crashing down. Easy. Just try and de-escalate the scenario inside that shack.
Steal from over the other side of the coast as well, actually. Being able to rip that one point away. But that just sets the alarm bells for Regnum Karya, Noxy and Toshpik. From up top of the hillside, they get vision, take some bullets down range, and claim one back of their own.
It's a horrible approach for Regnum Karya. And they have to send it. Romeo should have heard that. Loxley's going to send forward, so at least they have a player in the back line there. Nope, never mind, both get in. And Romeo yet to take shots. Plenty of bullets to make it happen as well, and Regnum Karya is almost inviting those shots their way with the way they're lazily rotating over that hillside.
Regnum Karya on the drive-by. It's a very messy landing trying to get over the bridge, and this is Alter Ego that, of course, will bite the hand that feeds immediately. Krypton goes in to close the gap, just Toshpik really low on health, easy maneuvers, and you shut them both down. So goodbye, Regnum Karya.
Yeah, it's an embarrassing flop on the vehicle.
Yeah.
Getting that across the shallows as well, usually fairly simple to do. I think they want to stop off over towards the bridge, but I think in that scenario, most teams have got these areas locked down. It's not the easiest game to play out, but we head up towards that northeast side, and suddenly things get a little bit more difficult, a little bit more interesting. Ruins being a big feature in this one, but Thunder Talks having this compound on the north side of it can cut out a lot of teams that want to come through on that western edge. DRX is going to struggle as they wrap around that high ground over towards Ida, who will have those nice sight lines. I'm more surprised by the fact that Scarface, as well as Ketch, have been able to live this long on Fireflux, just on 2 players. I think that's fantastic work from them.
Falcons have been biding their time. Saw an opportunity here to attempt to engage from underneath the bridge with the nades, cast that one out, not directly on target. Romeo as well being nipped out by the zone, so he goes down. So effectively just a duo. You can see he's back towards the bridge side, not really in a great position whatsoever. And for the Falcons, vehicles to play with, good split, all 4 players alive. Smile priming the nade, resetting that one until he sees an opportunity to actually get some chip damage off with it if they go for the crash down towards the bridge. DRX as well, finally getting revenge on Fireflux.
Scarface going down there is a bit rough. Ketch should be running into Reefers from APG soon. The rest of the team's a little bit further over towards his northeast, trying to hold out versus Team Secret, as well as the split Weibo Gaming. Falcons just rock over towards Nongshim Red Force, and Narvalo's Elites able to find one of them, but it was a quick descent into disaster here for the Falcons.
And this could go even worse quite quickly. They're attempting to pick up the pieces. Doxy goes down, but Narvalo responding. But look how low he is. DBS in the hands of Binny as well. Baiting out on the angle. A single shot is all that's required. Just trying to peek into it. Seeing if he can swing round. Dips behind the vehicle. Alpha as well, shutting down Team Secret in the meantime.
It's good from Alpha Gaming. They've been waiting for that push for a long, long time there. Finally make it work. Now they can start thinking about their next moves. Narvalo heads in. And what a performance so far from Narvalo. The rest of the team did not find the same kind of look, but again, it's like one of those scenarios where you had hoped the Falcons would make a more aggressive push over towards the bridge and over towards TW丨.
1v1 fight.
Yes, there's an opportunity to push through here, but it's likely that Nongshim Red Force is holding these angles. Even so, it's not the full squad from Nongshim Red Force which is able to tear you apart. There's a little bit of a limp approach from the Falcons. Next circle pops over towards Weibo. A big old split coming through from Alter Ego, who have all 4 players alive. Now, boys placed them in Dark Horse territory, but I think me and you are kind of clear in favor of Alter Ego, enjoying their rotates. Max brought up a good point to me earlier, saying perhaps their playstyle's unsustainable. My only counter to that is that I still think they would have done great even on the games where maybe they didn't deserve to get all the points in the world because it was off the back of team mistakes, but I still think that it would have got great placements, great points in those games regardless, just because of the way they played them.
Yeah, I think it's been very heads-up PUBG Mobile from them. Super cerebral gameplay. A lot more positives than really negatives to highlight whatsoever. Krypton here as well, even being able to snatch away the last man there. So Narvalo goes down 4 Falcons. You still have 2 solos, actually the 3 solos alive. Easy's still inside the little shed, bunkered down early. Kind of the secret agent in the back line of Alter Ego. Sakura as well here for E Arena, spotting out onto Refus on the drive up. Couldn't get himself behind any hard cover, so he falls.
Yeah, it's a really hard push. APG, they couldn't send all their players down either. Refus was sent in as almost a sacrificial lamb to try and get an opening knock, but they couldn't afford to have all their team down there just in case they had to pivot. They also don't know that Ida's a weakened squad, in which case maybe they could have put pressure there. There is so many sidelines as you're passing through, though. It is unlikely that Alpha gets too much further into this game.
Easy's been able to get the backstab onto Rosemary. This is what he was waiting for so long. You kind of forgot he was there, and you paid the comeuppance because of it. Even more damage from Easy, actually. That's onto TW For a solo dolo for Power, still being able to steal away some additional points is actually huge.
I mean, finally gets taken down, but what a run from them. 9 elims on the match. That's a good result. That's a great result. I don't know if they just got into placement point range there, but even so, it would have just been the 1 point anyway. But that does drop Alter Ego from a 4-man down to a 3, and you're losing your main man, Mr. Rosemary. Not always easy. And then again, Alva as well as Krypton have been having a big step up. It is not just the Rosemary show anymore. There's plenty more to this team.
Might actually be a good storyline for us in the booth and the viewers at home as well, because that's something we've been trying to hammer home, right? How important Alva's been for this squad. And I think this is the sort of game where this trio can prove, just like Rosemary said, it's not just me, it's the entire squad. We play off each other very well, yes, but if things go wrong, we can still pivot. Crazy maneuvers from Easy there, just before he's taken out. Harassing both Alter Ego and Thunder Talks. The push up onto Weibo. Finish that off. So E Arena snatching away the odd point here and there. 4 players alive for that squad as well, Blank. Could be a big talking point later.
E Arena had been a eye-opening squad in terms of we saw them earlier. We're like, wow, this not a team we've got our eyes glued to. But the more they've played, the more they've had these moments of success here and there. It's a hard team to pinpoint of whether they're a team that could challenge out for the first place spot, or they're a team that's towards middle of the pack, because some plays are great, other plays not so much. It's hard to, I would say, pinpoint exactly how I feel about E Arena. But there has been these good games, there has been some strong sweeps, and they're not a team that I think you could completely dismiss.
No, I think that's really fair. For me, the litmus test has been how Joker's playing as well. Feels like if he's on form, the rest of the squad really gets riled up. Alter Ego still looking menacing. Bit of a chip back over, Sakura down. 3 players alive, and Krypton. It's a rough position here on the hillside.
It's a smart one, though. Are you playing in front of the rock because you're assuming they're going to be sending those nades over the top of it anyway because they think you're hiding behind there. If they peeked up, they would have found a clear and easy shot over towards Krypton, but he takes that risk and it pays off here. Now they get the northeast shift on the circle. They know they need to start cleaning out E Arena soon.
Oh, Mormon. The starter step round from the side is good for 1. Get the first knock onto Alva, but Krypton and Moana playing off one another. Instantaneous response. Look at the spray down. Joker trapped in position, pinned by the barrage of bullets. You can still get the save onto your mate as well.
Yeah, this is a great time to reset, recalculate here for Alter Ego. They know they've got a prime position inside the circle to play off with the 3 players. Awesome nade from Eren over the top there. We'll take down Sakura. Perfect airburst on that one as well. Despite everything, it is Ida as well as Alter Ego getting it through to the late game. Good shots from Krypton. Keeps going forward. Like we said, it doesn't matter. No Rosemary doesn't mean that Alter Ego's down and out.
But I'm loving the fact that he kept the pressure on as well. Whilst the team was trying to reset themselves from the pickup and the heal, he was harassing. So you're still a little bit more paranoid. You can't take the fight to them. Ida have to stay tucked in for now. Rita's incredibly low as well.
For Ida, their big opportunity here is the shack right in front of the hard cover in the rock. They can get over towards it. It's big news, and Krypton had to hit that shot over towards Darkin. Now Eren moves up into position, and they find a decent nade over the back. Quite a little bit short here. They have a very strong position now, and that reset you were talking about does hamper them. Yes, Krypton was in position. The rest of Alter Ego weren't quite there to take shots as Ida crossed, and that was the prime time to do it.
Trying to force out the last man. Nice. Who find Doc? Okay, you remove him. Focus up on what's ahead of you then.
This is a good wrap now as well. It means they can play off the back of this hard cover. Again, approaching this position over towards Ida is not going to be easy, especially with the fact that resources, utility, extremely low on the side of Alter Ego. But what a banger of a first game. 10 eliminations, as well as a chance at a chicken dinner here.
It would be massive for them. Keep that energy going from the group stage. Show us that it wasn't a fluke. Chip damage there is going to be monumental as well.
No meds at all. Moana goes down. There is one shot out. Eren very low, and Krypton has to step back into cover.
Rita playing on the back foot. You're being pushed upon now. The last man. Timing is absolutely everything on this. And Alba, we said to highlight him. He's got the DBS in hand, wants to close the gap, looking to harass. And that's how Alter Ego do it. Straight back, showing us that they've got the talent, they've got the communication, and they've also got themselves the opening chicken dinner.
It's a great game from Alter Ego, and a promising one at that as well. We have it at home there saying that just because Rosemary down does not mean that this squad is not as fearsome as they come. That was an incredible match. Yes, they missed the rotate over towards Ida as they were coming across the road, but it was smartly played. And 3v4 versus E Arena as well there, where it counted. Really good plays from Alter Ego all around. But there were other things happening around the map. Easy get himself into a late game position there, getting 9 elims off the back of that one is a big result for them. And 4 thrives going down extremely early. It's a bit shaky.
Oh yeah, the power head-to-head on the hot drop. Scary stuff, and already you can see the intensity. Join us for more PUBG Mobile action in a couple minutes' time.
तीन मिनट बाद अगला स्टार्ट होगा मैच। वेलकम टू द स्ट्रीम भाई लोग, जो आ रहा है लाइक शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब कर दो यार, जल्दी स्ट्रीम को लाइक लाजमी कर दो, चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर दो। अगला रैंगल में भाईजान जी क्या पता शायद कोई ऐसी पोजीशन निकाल ले। उम्मीद करता हूँ चिकन ही निकाल ले। है भी क्या उसके बाद? ओए ओए
Cybertron's future is near. Autobots, roll out! Reeks of weakness. Your courage reignites my spark. We'll crown a new lord of Cybertron. Victory for all sentient beings.
Gua ada prediksi sebelum semuanya terjadi. Tekanan. Apa itu? Final, saatnya kita bersinar.
Lu nggak bisa ngalahin apa yang lu nggak bisa prediksi. Kalian bakal ingat tim kita.
Number one in the groups are now number one to start off the grand finals for PMWC. Alter Ego is operating on another level. Who is going to be able to stop them? It's only one game down in the final, but that's a terrifying statement to make from the word go here, Seven.
It is, and I mean, continuing on the performance that we saw out of them in group stages, being able to control a lot of the circle. Once they felt comfortable, they started doing a 1-1-1-1 split, and that ultimately gave them the lead when it came down to Regnum Karya trying to push in. They had every angle, and it was an easy fight for this squad.
I mean, when you look at Sanok in particular, Trifecta is just such a key transition point. They controlled it from like the early stages of the game until the very end, and it started with a hot drop against Thundertalk. They fixed it, they go boot camp, and because of that, they have an easy chance to go for the win. 23 points right out of the gate. SEA here to win it all.
Impressive high ground control, impressive fight against the arena as well to be able to salvage everything after that and then get the 23 points. It's brilliant stuff from them. Following things up as well, Alpha Gaming with 12 points, being able to position themselves after a lot of eliminations, Max, getting themselves in a decent spot to start off the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, big fight happening in Painan versus, I believe it was Team Secret, able to get the squad wipe onto that one. And actually, we were critical about Doc. He kind of saved this game for his team. They got them right into the top 3, eliminated most of DRX as they were trying to exit out of Ruins. Are we going to see them be at the bottom of the rankings and Doc MVP like in PMGO? I hope not, but it's so far it is going that way.
If it's this kind of performance, I mean, I don't hate it from APG. As you mentioned, it came down to Doc being able to clutch up a top 3 situation for this squad. If they continue like that, one thing that I do have to kind of nitpick a little bit, even though it is Sandhawk, is them losing top early. If they would have had a little bit more of those players left alive there towards the end, it would have been a lot better.
Do you know, there were so many favorite moments from this game. Do you know what my... why are you already saying?
Don't.
Do you know what one of my favorite moments was from this game? Stop him. It was both of your guys' picks going out straight away in the game. Max, what do you have to say about yourself?
So, Horror were alive.
So, yeah.
I blinked.
Yeah.
They weren't alive anymore.
That's weird.
That's all I have to say.
How about yourself, 7 with 4 thrives?
It happens when a team decides to hot drop in the grand finals on day 1 on the first match. 4 thrives. Come on, what are we doing? To be fair, though, they said that after this, they don't really have to worry about anything else. But I don't care. 4 thrives. Please stop hot dropping, even if we're only going to be playing Sandhawk twice.
And who was my pick coming into the grand finals? What's wrong, Max? Alter Ego?
I'm annoyed.
Was it actually your pick?
Yeah, of course.
It was his pick. Barney too.
They look crazy good in the group stage, and now they're controlling crazy amounts of space. Anyway, that's by the by. Let's take a look at the highlights from this game as well.
One thing I really liked, actually, we're talking about it a little bit, Seb, during this game, is the rhythm at which Alter Ego play. Not talking about the control on Trifecta, which we already highlighted was phenomenal. Is the way they take engagements that make sense. They take a big fight, they maybe take a few knocks, full reset, bring everyone back up, get information, transition to a better position. It's just very by the book, and yet so efficient, so well executed, so snappy. The Alter Ego, I was a little bit scared that what they did in group stage, it would be hard to replicate here in the finals, but they proved us wrong right away in the first game.
The main one comes down to that scouting. I'm really enjoying the scouting that they do, and as you mentioned, just the pacing of their playing style, making sure that they do end up clearing everything. Rosemary, though, to be fair, Rosemary ended up getting caught off guard there by Power, and talking about Power, what an impressive match out of this team too, winning that hot drop.
Yeah, very important, all things considered. It might do more Sandhawks to play here, Max, so maybe not coming back in those next 2 Sandhawks?
Look, you maybe don't want to ruin your Sandhawks when Alter Ego already created a big lead.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not about you need to be top 8 to be in a good position. You need to win it all, and you're not going to do so by hot dropping on one match.
Yeah, the thing is if one member of Power isn't there, I think Alter Ego wins this even harder. They've got Rosemary and Moana just waiting for that Thunder Talk kind of rotate around on the left. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be the desk host. Go on, talk, 7.
Good. I think, what was it? It was like 13 eliminations. I'm with you. If they would have kept Rosemary, they would have been so much more aggressive, because what we have seen this team do, which is just gain all of that control. They would have been willing to take those fights, and even at the end, when we saw them having to just slow down and get a reset, it would have been a lot faster.
Yeah, I kind of want to steal a point that you were talking about earlier, Kalaris, during the game. It's actually, they're very good at knowing the weaknesses of their position. Thunder Talk up northwest, they were trying to wrap around. They instantly understood, okay, this is our weak point. We are going to get wrapped around. They set up a little bit of a defense. Power, as we said, that one solo player that's kind of ruined it for them. They do lose Rosemary. But Thunder Talk, if they don't take care of that main threat at that point, chances are they don't win that match. So they're very, very good at just understanding what is going to be the issue in matches when it comes to taking wins.
That said, I do have a lot of hope for our Korean overlords, as I normally do in these tournaments, boys. And take a look at Nongshim Red Force going up against DRX as well. 2 teams that could do a lot here, but DRX in the distance, dodging bullets left, right, and center, then being able to shut down Nongshim Red Force. There was some there's cool moments all over the place from this game 7.
There was. I mean, you have Narvalo being able to clutch up for Team Falcons too. That was a pleasant surprise. Remember, last time I was talking about him, it was just getting eliminated too early on for his team. So it's good to see it now, being able to see the evolution of Narvalo. But I got to call out 3 teams, actually 2 teams. It has to be Nongshim Red Force and Fireflux. Nongshim Red Force, I'm going to give you a bit of a slight one, because you did have a lot of the area. You had a circle that was kind of blessing you, but these 2 teams just play a little bit too passive for what the lobby is currently showing us.
Let's check in with our teams coming into Erangel. Erangel is an unbelievably important battleground here, and 4 thrives alongside Alter Ego have been able to truly thrive on this battleground, Max, but who's going to be able to do it?
If you're able to get these point averages we've seen in the survival and the league stage, right, coming in from 4 thrives, Alter Ego, if you're getting around like 6 elims, 7 elims average on every Erangel, that again, you're playing this battleground 3 times per day, you're going to start creating an even bigger lead. And the fact that Alter Ego start with a win, and they are our Erangel top fragger, bro, they're scary right out of the gate here.
Yeah, definitely. With 50% of the maps being, of course, Erangel here, you need to be performing on the grassy pastures.
Well, I mean, for 4 Thrives, as I was saying, okay, you know what? Let's get out of the way with Sandhog. You got that hot drop. Hopefully, you'll be able to learn for tomorrow. But now, going into Erangel, all their wins came in Erangel. Whenever we were in group stages, they ended up with, what was it, top 3, 4 times out of 6 matches that we played this. So they need to make sure they take full advantage of Erangel.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they'll be able to make it happen. Again, as you said, Kalaris, 50% of your matches are on this battleground, on the grassy pastures. You want to try and have some good time over there, and if any teams can be making it, all the top fraggers we just saw on that graphic could be the ones to make it happen.
Definitely. I expect we'll see a bounce back from 4 Thrives. They're not going to go lying down. But of course, over in-game right now, you guys can get your hands on the PUBG Mobile Airdrop Carnival, and it's now live. Don't miss the final 3 days this weekend. Log in to summon your airdrop surprise and collect 2025 airdrop vouchers from your chance to win official merch, smartphones, BD partner rewards, permanent in-game items, and more. Every participant is guaranteed to win rewards. Come and join the Airdrop Carnival and unbox your surprise. Any surprises you may think of here, Seven, coming into Erangel?
That I can think of right away? No, none. I just want to see some of those teams that I ended up calling out being a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
Especially even if they do end up in a position where they maybe are blessed by the circle, I want to see them being a little bit more proactive. Try to get those points. Try to get those eliminations.
Yeah, I mean, one team I'm going to be looking at, especially this game, is going to be Regnum Karya. They drop in Rozok. There's no contention. There's no hot drop happening over there. They did have a really rough circle this time around on Sanhok, but Erangel is by far their best battleground. If there's any time Regnum Karya need to step up, it's right here, right now.
And for the Regnum Karya, it's going to have to come down to just being able to rotate a little bit faster. We were talking about it during that last match, Max. We're saying they're rotating way too slow. It's going to end up hurting them. Guess what? Alter Ego was already set up. And when you have teams playing like how Alter Ego is, being able to control such a big area, if you're going to end up rotating late and not being able to scout, you're just pretty much going to get eliminated.
Of course, you guys over at home as well can not only be watching the stream that's going on here, but make sure to have the map feed open too live. Because obviously that is going to give you huge information regarding how these teams are going to be rotating, how they're moving. And speaking of that, I paid very close attention whilst I was kind of analyzing the games from day to day, how Yangon was going to be rotating on things. Because of course, coming from Military Island is not the easiest of things you have to do in this game, Maxpan. And sometimes it was by hovercraft, sometimes it's by cars across roads and things like that. So for them, there is always that potential challenge that you've got to deal with when coming from military.
I mean, especially because, let's keep in mind, unlike in the survival stage, 4 Thrives are here. Western Bridge, occupied. Alpha Gaming back in the lobby, drop in the military. Novo also going to be possibly occupied. I think there was even a potential hot drop happening over there. So Yangon Galacticos, this is going to be turned up to 11 into hard mode. And we know that this is a team that surprised us. Can they surprise us when they are going to have a real tough time simply surviving on Military Island?
If there was a team that I would expect them to be able to get out of Military Island, will be Yangon Galacticos. But I agree. They've been able to show it over and over again. They've been able to adjust. Yeah, even now that 4 Thrives is here and they're more than likely going to just be controlling that Western Bridge, we have seen Yangon Galacticos realize that and be willing to just take some damage from the blue zone, go all the way around into the Eastern Bridge, and even if they end up rotating late, it works out for them.
It does work out, but I'm just scared not only of 4 Thrives, because we've seen that normally their hold on Western Bridge is quite passive. They allow teams to move in if it doesn't give them a big advantage in the circle early on. My main issue is going to be when APG and 4 Thrive, APG and Yangon Galacticos try to rotate at the same time, and you're going to have this big bottleneck situation. That is really what causes team to lose a lot of players in the early game.
All I'm hearing here is a third-party opportunity for Yangon Galacticos.
Ooh. And that's kind of scary. Just a really good... Anyway, let's by the by. It's time. The Grassy Pastures, Erangel, game number 2 of the day here for the Grand Finals.
Impeccable timing from the audience there, and overall, Blank, you can see it's starting to fill out right. You've got fans, you've got family, you've got support staff, everyone in the arena ready for the anticipation that's going to continue to build as we make our way through these playoff games. And I tell you what, Blank, I'm going to throw it into the mix right now. Alter Ego take back-to-back chicken dinners.
You think so?
100%.
Straight on Erangel with another Alter Ego win, huh? I mean, to be fair, yep, all support staff are here, the fans are out in force. Al-Haji's father is here cheering him on as well. A little of extra pressure, you know.
Oh yeah, the legend himself in the crowd.
My dad was there, I'd be worried. I'd do a better cast. But yeah, we're heading over towards Erangel for the first time here over at playoffs. starting over towards Quarry, heading up over towards Stauber. Very neat little playing path here for most teams, right? We'll be able to get out slightly early over towards Primos, very Pier, as well as Sosnovka, which gives you a little bit more time to figure out what your movement's going to be from Sosnovka, which is nice, especially if you drop down there. But meantime, teams heading over towards Yasnaya, Mansion, Lipovka, Prism. It's a little bit of a longer rotate that you're going to have to make. Time you have to spend inside the plane. I think for most teams, they'll be very, very happy with this kind of playing path.
You can see how the standings are looking as well, of course, off the back of that opening game of the playoffs here. For Power, it was a very impressive hot drop, targeted one of the teams that everyone's had their eyes on, and that was 4 Thrives, who absolutely dominated back in the group stage. Is there going to be a bit of back for blood gameplay on that one? That's what I'm curious about. Are they going to have this revenge moment? You don't want to have 2 games of slow starts. That's a squad that needs to build.
APG currently parachuting over the top of 4 Thrives. 4 Thrives already hit the ground running. We'll see if APG extends this parachute down towards Sosnovka. I think they have to at this point, especially now that 4 Thrives is already starting to get set up. We send over towards the eastern side of the map. Falcons in their beloved Pachinki, as well as Rozok being held by Regnum Kaya, as Maxman was talking about earlier on. There was a lot of indecision coming through from Regnum Kaya when it comes to Rozok. Teams often finding a better position in Rozok when the circle heads that way. Not sure whether to hold inside or send out. I think that they got hit with a little bit of an unlucky stick a few times on that one. There certainly can be improvements. We'll wait and see. Keep your eyes on the wheel and the windscreen, please, instead of just on the map. So if you're driving, get direction from your teammates, possibly.
Yeah, don't dent the Dacia. Keep it clean, Black. Paintwork on that. It's a nice cool blue. Matches the logo.
Yeah, she works out very well. But everyone in this one all rotating together here for Thunder Talks, sending down towards Milta, which is free right now, so Thunder Talks can play that one out. Alter Ego sending far over towards Lipovka right now, which is very much out of the way, but on this kind of circle, it's completely fair. You don't want to send your entire team over towards Lipovka, though. You would like some scouts on the outside. Right now, it looks like the entirety of the team is just going up towards Lipovka, though. I think they expect that they're going to have time, especially on the plane path being so long over towards the eastern side of the map.
Curious as well. Position 10, Falcons tied points with Weibo, and both Fire Flux as well. How they're going to be looking. Obviously, we saw in their Sandhawk games for our survival stage. It was far slower pace. It worked for them there. It's going to be a bit different here. Teams that are going to look to try and take the fight to you, you're not going to get as many freebies. When they crashed into Nongshing Red Force, that's where it all went wrong. Hopefully they can avoid a similar outcome here. Forward scout on Ralph. Farther up ahead, it's Regnum Karia, Fireflux, and Power that are relatively close by.
Power's getting a move on. Regnum Kaya also making that move, as you were saying, all in vehicles. They left Rozok early. They want to pride themselves here, and I think that's fair enough, especially in the first circle. They don't want to spend too much time in Rozok. They'd rather get a central position and then know that there is a chance to send back over towards Rozok later on. So we're not doing any of these shenanigans where we leave 2 players behind, we send 2 players up front. They're going to play together. If it means they have to kind of work their way back into Rozok, dig a tunnel back towards that region of the map, then sure, fair enough. But in the meantime, Regnum Kai is just going to try and take a central position, which they know they have priority on right now from the spot that they started in. Like you said, Power in a similar spot. Gondola here for Eren, as he will make the journey back down the mountain. This is over towards Stauber.
This is intense. Eren inside of the gondola. The ground shaking.
It's not intense, it's in the gondola.
Not as good as the horse, you know. I think horse, gondola, kind of, you know, different territory.
Yeah, it's a completely alternate playing field, right? It's incomparable.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Stop that.
You can tell we're a duo.
Yeah, we can. Jinx padlock. Throw away the cube.
Well, I'm glad you saved us. You know what, though? Glad we get a little bit of camera time with DRX here as well. Again, you know, they kind of had a rough early rotation where Fireflogs were able to take down one player from that team, but they kept it developing. And again, I think there's so much talent for this squad. I'm curious to see how they're going to be looking once we kind of have this day to look back on. Going into day 2, where they are in the standings, what the squads look like. I feel like there is so much talent on this roster for Hyunbin as well. So on the kind of, you know, it's been there, worn the t-shirt, and it's just a short space of time.
Yeah.
Meteoric rise for him. Very, very good talent to watch.
Hyunbin's been very effective across esports in, like you said, the short time he's been here, relative to a lot of the veterans that are in PUBG Mobile. I will say the one thing that is annoying between Nongshim Red Force as well as DRX for our South Korean teams is Tizzy, Sizzy, Zizzy. It's like, come on, guys. Let's get a slightly different naming convention going. Just for my sanity, at least.
Well, at least we've only got one alpha now.
That's true, yeah. Fantastic result.
For one of them.
For one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one. I think, honestly, for Alpha 7, they claimed the name earlier, right? For Alpha Gaming, that felt more like BM, in my opinion.
What, they have the chance to do the funniest thing.
Oh, it's Alpha Gaming. They've won the second. Wait a minute.
Oh, the back-to-back. Oh, no, hang on. It's a different team.
A different one.
Yeah.
That would confuse the social media managers.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you that now.
That'd throw you off guard.
Yeah.
Roll the Alpha set.
Just joking.
Pull the fast one on you.
Let's not twist the knife too much.
No more BM. Okay.
They've just come off a pretty saddening defeat. But yeah, we are here live from Riyadh. We have a thumping, roaring crowd, which is great to see from all instances over the world, which is really, really sweet as well. Everyone coming out to support their team of choice. But it's been a slow game so far. With just a lot of rotating happening. Zero players.
पहला मैच पे नॉक का लगा है
and kicking as we head over
उतरते ही पहनती फिर ही पावर वालों के बाद फाइट हुई है उतरते ही
we are moving
एक किल पलक ने निकाला उसके बाद
edge gameplay.
दो नॉक
A lot of
निकाले
teams putting a lot more stock here towards the center, which will change as time goes on. As more and more spots open up around the edge of the map, you'll see teams getting a lot of success off the back of that. And it's crazy they're coming into playoffs, and that is sort of the change we're going to see probably day 2, day 3 if this thing continues, and it really depends which team's going to be able to take advantage of that, because a lot of times, in my opinion, it's teams that have very good sweeping capability. One team in particular does that very well, Alter Ego.
Oh yeah, and we've seen that as well in their gameplay already.
Power esports
I think it's, again, you know, just sort of hammers home that point of the fact that this team can do it all. They can pass the baton amongst one another. It was very nicely played, put on with the setup, even when Rosewood goes down, the way they're building back into the game, walking away with chicken dinner. And there's a reason, you know, you throw it out there saying, obviously, I think they could take a back-to-back chicken dinner here today. But with the talent they've shown, I think they genuinely could. We'll keep our eye on it. See how it goes over the flow of this one. Nice as well when you brought it up, obviously. Everyone in the crowd, we saw the highlight there, and Al Haji's father. That segment of the crowd representing power. If they keep playing like they did, try and build into that, well, there they are in the eLIM feed, taking fights to Thunder Talks. You know they're going to be getting loud.
Yeah, sighting actually does go down straight away to Ragnar, which is a good opener. He does take a fair lick of damage, but should be able to get back into cover here. Just compound-based gameplay between both teams as the circle did push out towards the western side. And I think it's the first time this tournament really seen this area of the map in full over towards Potato Hill and the southern reaches of it. There's a lot of water. It's not as much as you might think, but you've got to consider that edge down towards Sosnovka that's still in is all sort of playable space. You'd be a bit mad trying to firm down there at this point of the game. So we are cutting around about 30%, I'd say, out of this map. So it's becoming a little bit more cramped, a little bit more crowded.
Scary as well, watching this rotate in from Team Secret. Another squad that I think, you know, could be described as preferring to have those passive setups rather than being the one to instigate firefights. You run into the crosshairs of Alter Ego, they are going to take that fight to you. They won't let you get away cleanly. You had a spot in the backline there with Rosemary very quickly jumping out of the driving seat to attempt to set up in cover. didn't take the fight in the end. Doesn't fight out a few bullets to see if he can get a connection over, but they can still chase on this.
For Rodrigo, they're sort of giving ground here to Team Secret as they get ahead, but it is Krypton who's been able to swipe around, get in front of them. Ida as well as Fireflux are in front. It's an awkward rotate, I'd say, because Horror does control a lot of the space over towards the northern side, and Alter Ego likely not wanting to pick up that position. Neither are Team Secret. There is potential, though, to just completely back off this angle. Make a very wide wrap over towards school side and play there. It is out of bounds in terms of where a lot of the high prio locations are, but it gives you a safe approach into the circle. Alva right now, the Hound on the team of Alter Ego, looking to take a sniff over towards Shelter.
You can get a good read on this as well with the placement of the squads round towards that side. You've also got another scout from Emre who's actually bypassed one another. Inside of the blue is Alva. Jumps out of the vehicle for a second, quick bit of looting. Rosemary in close position there as well. You can see it established here on the map screen as we get that next coming in.
Therex, E-Arena, both in good spots. I like where Mormon's playing. This is a really nice split coming through from E-Arena. They had the compound that sat on the eastern side of those fields, which means you can comfortably hold out Falcons, but they make this immediate rotate over towards Mormon, who held that spot, but Regnum Kaya will be coming through quickly as well. They understand this spot is extremely important to them. 2 down already. Sakura is out, and Regnum Kaya is cleaning house.
Oh yeah, mop and bucket gameplay. Looking to close down on E-Arena and leave them nothing to fight back with. It's a nice start. Silas on the hunt. Player up on the roof, trying to keep his head down. Clean this out, make sure there's no opportunities for a bit of a stab back. Walk away with all 4 players still alive once they get the man picked back up there. Ooh. That's not what you want. Bunch of maneuvers, but this could be a little bit cheeky. Fireflux going in. Hovercraft gameplay from the side though. Macap instantly falls. He able to hit that one on the crash in.
Fireflux not being able to win this fight is pretty rough for them, because this was their game plan for a long time, is to hit up towards this compound. And they've been sent back off this. Good hold coming through from Weibo. Only losing 1 player in order, but it's not even a flush there, it's just the knock. That's easily resable. So Fireflux is going to have to go play down by the coastal side, which is an uncomfortable position to be in, because not only is it not in this compound, which is much safer, but it also denies you a lot of information into the future there. Alter Ego have been taking their time. Alva was able to spot out 1 player. They will find the pickoff onto him. Sky goes down, and now more space can be gained from Alter Ego playing on that edge and sweeping.
Alpha charges further forward. Line of sight blocked from the smoke wall that's been deployed from the remaining members of Aura. Alpha's going to be looking for this one on target with the nade. Meanwhile, Rosemary confirming being able to get that final shot off back towards Sleepy. An exchange of shrapnel. No fear, at least with a little bit of cover to play with. Slightly harder to get those nades in with the smoke shrouding it as well, but he bails now with his teammate falling further back to provide cover.
Yeah, you got to keep backing this one off now. It's a nice bit of high ground that you can use to scout into the future of the game. I'm curious to see how Alter Ego want to play this one out, because it is a bit of a wall in front of them. Ida's playing a nice angle and a nice setup here where they are darted across the road, allowing them to get a lot of information going in towards the future, take a couple of pot shots here and there. So yeah, definitely curious how Alter Ego want to play this out. I mean, they have just been taking names slowly but surely. Team Secret weren't able to step to them. They made an instant decision to rotate back off, and just trusting in Alva's calls as well, which is very nice to see. I do want to quickly go back to Regnum Kaya though, because despite that being an immediate rotate, Mormon having control over towards the building, that was a very nice take coming through from Regnum Kaya, and that might have just bumped their point scoring up by a fair bit. There is a slight issue with that compound where some of the angles are cut off to you. You don't have all the information in the world, but this is the sort of position that's going to keep you safe for a long time.
I think from a few of the games we've seen from Regnum Kaya as well early on in the day, it feels like sometimes they pull those punches and won't fully commit to play. So it's nice to see, you know, you've committed to an idea that they've been able to make it work.
Yeah.
Just need to keep that consistency. Blank confidence good though.
Even that survival stage, when Regnum Kaya went for some strong central positions, they are very, very proactive. Even those spots where it felt like they didn't really have position to play, these are drive-by nades as well. A huge amount of damage going through up towards Alpha Gaming. I'm surprised not even a single knock there. I think if they even found one more nade towards that position, it would have been an easy cleanup for them and an easier decision to roll out, cutting out a big threat on the north side.
Yeah, they are very lucky they've been able to survive through that. On target nade, like you said, it's impressive. Not a single one of them went down. You could have crashed into it, very easily cleaned up with such a sliver of HP between the four of them. They can reset with the supplies they have. We saw a little bit of power showing up in the Elim feed once again as well, so still looking to find opportunities to build, but the nade back over. Easy knockdown because of it. This is TW. It's the last man in Zing.
Well, still sweeping over the top side, gets a little bit of information, but Fahida wants to take more shots and will finish it off there. Power eliminating TW. He's pointing to me as well, though, where for Shinga is just a case of, it's close for Easy. Probably didn't even know he's in the shack, but just assumed that Easy's in one of these shacks in this game. I have to nade every single shack available because this guy's a backstabber and a half.
Oh, hang on a minute. You might have just said the word. It's operative here, Blank. The roll in from Alter Ego from the top side, finding that shot down range onto Alpha Gaming. They've been in that same position. It's a full confirmation from Rosemary. Quick pick-me-up play as well from Krypton.
Oh, there it is again. I mean, I'd like to see more DVS, but to be fair, he's one of the most skillful players is Sook with that explosive arrow, and it's something new, it's something different. And he finds success out of it. Like we said, it doesn't always pop up too often in the Elim feed, but the amount of space that Weibo gains off of Sook, wielding the bow and letting loose some absolute ringers.
Weaponizing the crowd there as well. You could see the excitement. We mentioned it, man. Would we be seeing it in playoffs? Yeah, he doesn't give a damn. Grand stage, important matchups. He'll still be playing to his best, playing his flavor of PUBG Mobile. That's actually the final knock onto E-Arena as well, of course, removing them. And like you said, this now presents more opportunities for other teams to move further up. It's not the craziest point disparity in the mid portion there, but you're going to take that if they're not here.
There's some very obvious priority compounds here inside this circle, which you can easily spot. If you're watching the map feed, which is available over at PUBG Mobile Esports at YouTube, you'll see that Noxian Red Force currently have the one over towards the east, the west, and DRX down towards that mass of compounds on that south side. None is direct central, but they all have very, very good use cases into the future. In the meantime, here's 4 Thrives going up against the Falcons right from the edge, and they are backed up against the wall. Ralph is trying to get Narvalo back up on his feet, but the nades continue to rain through. The
timing on it. I mean, he's able to re-engage at least with the quick switch. Pulls out the secondary on the Bizone and unloads from the damage from the side. Nade over the top, and it's a clean connection. Hitting Narvalo even once more. He's going to try and beast up on this, but the Lanimal put back in his place, and Redox stays alive. Off the knock onto IQ, can push further forward, but it is a rough start for Falcons.
Yeah, slashing swipe coming through here. In the meantime, Alter Ego have had one player knocked, but they are currently taking Yangon to task over towards Potato Hill as the circle move far towards that north side and becomes even more of a prime position. Noki sending nades out. Redox certainly proved himself there, getting the one of his own. It needs to be on target, but it's not meant to be as 4 Thrives are able to find the Elims, find the knocks, and Falcons will be brought low from the western edge.
And they've been wanting to play that slower style into these games. Here, yes, they lose one player, but they can reset. Action going on again here as well, with Fireflux having a real struggle start going into playoffs already. Again, Alter Ego continue unloading the mortar strike, nade after nade on top.
This has been an extremely extended fight. I think we've seen knocks coming through across the board, but Ida starts to get involved now over towards Alter Ego. I think they just lost one. Krypton is down. Now Alva needs to pull out something special. Yangon Galacticos down to just the 2 players. 2 players knocked for them.
Alva Belly crawling, using the grass and the ridge side to provide him some additional cover. Quick jump spot, seeing if he can get visual contact over the edge, over the smoke. Vahidan as well takes a stray bullet from the side. Nonshin Red Force building into this one.
Just need to pick Krypton back up again. Technically, he is in cover, so Alpha will head back down there, but a full 3v3 and plenty of nades to work with. Cloud might just be on target there, but that one descends over the top, and it won't be a lot of damage needed to take Krypton out, and it will be a knockover towards Alva, and despite a massive spree coming through in this game from Alter Ego over towards Yangon Galacticos, it is the Galactic comeback coming through on the north side of the map. Very surprising that Yangon comes out of this one with the 3 players.
That's the go pistol to push up for them as well. And similarly for Moana, it's time to bail. That fight has gone nowhere near how they wanted it to go down. Trapped as well as he gets the overlay around the squads that are close by. He's just got to get his head down, tuck into position. It's Ida from the sideline that takes shots towards him, opens up an opportunity for Nonshin. Alpha with the nade, and it is a strike from Reefus.
Through the trees, through the leaves, and like a dead leaf falling, that will be the final player from Alter Ego out. Incredible stuff there. You don't see those ones every day.
No back-to-back chicken dinners to start us off. Another team will walk away with a big W on this one as the battle continues. Nice distance firefights here onto 4 frags as well. Good aim.
Weird location on the map, man. Ida currently looking very good from this spot, but we've moved away from a lot of the more prominent compounds on the map. Regnum Kaya looking just to finish off those players down on that south side. And Power still running through with 3 players as well, so they're not down and out yet. Nongshim Red Force should be able to hold out strong on the south side though, having very, very good buildings to work with going forward. Nades over the top, they do. A little bit of damage coming through from Regnum Kaya over towards DRX, who are now opting to see if they can just swipe right.
Spin out on the burst instantly got to try and reset from this one, but there's further damage done. Knock behind the tree. Quick bandage from Hyunbin, looking to reset himself. Easy sees that opportunity. Connection back onto DRX.
But DRX trying to get through here. Nongshim Red Force wasn't going to let it happen. Al-Haji finding Hyunbin as well on the back lines there. Very long-range spray to make it work. Make it work, it does. There is still one building available for Regnum Guy to be playing out on the very edge of the circle. I'd be excited to see a Yangon podium finish here just because of how hard they had to fight for their lives on the north side.
It's a hefty investment from Power. Really clamoured to try and steal away some points from that one. Damage is good to DRX, but they both go down because of it, resulting in a bit of a stalemate from the crash in, only leaving one representative of Power left. It was Weibo that were able to cause issues behind that smoke wall, and then of course Regnum Kara, the compound high ground position as well, but nice split. Silas set up further ahead. Yeah, this is going to get more and more intense. Secret, catching vision.
This is the nice thing about Regnum Kari as well, is that we mentioned it beforehand, where they're a proactive team. They don't allow themselves to be caught at the moment and just sit around, feet up, watching telly inside these compounds. They are very much active on the outside there. They took shots over towards Alpha Gaming. They cut out over towards the south side. It's not a crazy amount of points able to find this game in terms of elims, just the 3, but they've confirmed a strong spot on that southwest side. Weibo are in front of them, as you've mentioned. I'd like to see how they're going to handle this into the future. Terrain that push through.
मुझे लगा कोई अच्छी जगह पे बैठा है, अभी तक उसकी हेल्थ भी लो नहीं हो रही।
Secret can actually get the angle to walk those nades over, roll it down the hillside. Spacing could be problematic. That's what you were talking about, of course. Obviously for Weibo, just a few steps ahead, just tucked in. A little bit of cover to work with. At least you've got the detonated vehicles, and it's actually Faheedon that was the last man left for Powder. So he's just over by the tree line there.
It's very. This is why I'm saying. Ooh, wow! What a shot coming through
जल्दी
from
मारो
Heathen.
फिर नोकी को
A
चिकन
bad
डिनर दे
chance
देना
as well, and he took it immediately. This is what I mean for Regnum Kai. It's very hard because you want to take shots down towards Weibo Gaming, but as soon as you leave this compound, you're in sight lines of Ida. Going forwards, that next circle doesn't cut Ida out either. So now Regnum Kai has to go for something very quick. They know the exact location of Alpha Gaming though. At this point, Solid does feel like it needs a crash here for Regnum Kai. Over towards that north side, I don't think it's going to be effective at all trying to wrap out over towards the east. Key down though. Maybe there's a chance up towards these two players. Play behind the car cover. Then what chances do you have later into the game? That's the real issue. So it looks like they are going to roll out over towards this north side, as I was mentioning.
As we've seen, Ida have been able to do so much from this position. This might actually give them an opportunity. Yeah, non-shing engaging. Yeah, this is go time for both squads. You've got to build off the back of this. Crash in, up towards the compound. Nade close. Zizzy takes the brunt of the damage. Aaron priming another one as well. It's TW. He saw him. What's going on? Goes back in for a second look. Finally shuts down Rita.
That was crazy. Silas moving up top there. We'll find Silas. We'll finish him off there as well. I mean, Regnum Kaya just spent all the way over towards Yangon Galacticos, and they were doing damage, but they're out now. What?
You knew about Alpha for so long. The minute an opportunity was presented from the commotion thrown between this fight on your screens, they go for it, but Alpha just absolutely upset. Goodbye, Regnum Karia. It's now not a bad position for them to build from.
Not at all. I think Alpha Gaming played a bit of a blinder on that one, but blinding powder over to Regnum Kaya, it would seem. TW moves up over towards Ida, finding Darkin. More DBS shot through the window. Not quite connecting just yet. There's a Molotov sent through. Murnat will finish off top on an explosion on the vehicle. They are just trying to hold on as much as possible here. And once again, it is Yangon Galacticos to make it through. This team is bulletproof.
You got Team Secret as well, playing that classic slow build, playing from distance, looking to third party onto this one. This elongated bout between Non-Ship and Ida. Aaron dodged the explosives, but he can't dodge the slugs. That's the peek up from TW. The DBS finally able to finish him off, but at what cost? One player left, just him.
Gives me Yangon Galacticos as well as Team Secret have some very favorable positions going in towards the future. They can effectively sort of ignore one another and rather take shots down towards that south side at teams that will be making their way up this hillside. I think it's going to be tough. Suk with the bow in hand, just sending shots in, making life extremely difficult for TW. He is on the ground though. Suk may be just sending in ammo for no reason.
I mean, with 20 arrows left, he could zone you for quite time. Just make it impossible to go for a peek out.
He's got to leave at some point as well. That's the thing.
Oh, they're getting close.
It's consistent bombardment. Foxy's struggling. Now moving forward, Suk will see a nade come his way. A little bit upset about the nades coming down though. Might pivot off. Spots TW isn't quite as effective with the assault rifle as he is with the bow. The team will support him there, still make it happen. Weibo attempting to move up, but it's those two angles. Like I said, it's an efficient, I don't want to call it teamwork between both teams, but it's an agreement, right? You both have an extremely strong position. Let's get rid of the teams that could cause problems for us later on before we engage in one-on-one combat.
Yeah, you know to prioritize first. Don't poke the hornet's nest until it's time to engage. Frankie with a move up. Wow. Damage back over. Slapping him there. Forcing him into a bit of a rough spot. Three squads going head to head, of course. And Alpha Gaming only have the one man left alive. That's Reefus that's further down.
This will be the second game in a row that Alpha Gaming have been able to get themselves a podium finish with a solo player towards these end circles. He's going to make a break for it. Murnat definitely saw him, was wondering why he went for that play. I don't think he had much choice in that situation. Murnat had actually pushed off that position as well. It's just unlucky that he comes out at that timing. Triangle will go down.
Shots back and forth, trades on either side. Intensity building, Saycloud looking for the angle. Murnat from further back, able to assist. They can focus fire on Frankie. He's removed, cauterize it and reset. 2 players alive, focusing on the pickup as well. Grab Romeo.
I mean, just make it as hard as possible. A 3v1. There's absolutely no way the Jaiki should be able to get himself out of this one with Yangon Galacticos starting to move up. And the map is enveloped by space as they suffocate out the rest of the teams from the high ground, pick themselves up a big chicken dinner. Not only against some of the hardest spots in the lobby like Alter Ego, but Regnum Kaya, who sent their way up there earlier, who did get backstabbed by Alpha Gaming, but what can you say about that one? They knew where they were. There was some weird plays this game, but it was terrifying terrain to play around with.
You see the celebration and elation from the team as well. Some nice, solid slaps of the hands. Everyone congratulating one another. The arena starting to get excited as well with the way these games have been going. And yeah, they should be celebrating. They played some great games. Heads-up maneuvers again as well. Some crazy stuff. It's a good point. It's what you bring up, man. Alpha Gaming being able to drag that one out, even that fight onto Regnum Karia. Crazy scene.
खाई आ रही है पाकिस्तान की नेट गंदा दिया है
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify, the official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup. अजान हो रही है
Yangon Galacticos blasting off at the speed of light. All the other teams better surrender now or prepare to fight. We have got ourselves Seven and Maxman here to talk about this victory from them, coming in from Potato Hill, looking really cool, looking strong, taking out the previous winners from the previous games. Maxman, Yangon.
I think they're happy they had a very northern plane that was not good for them, because that allowed them to drop into crates and George Bowl and actually get the northern rotate into the circle. And actually, there were very little teams going up in that northern position. We did have Ultra Ego eventually try and clash on Potato Hill itself, but the nade from Say Cloud in particular were key to claim all of Potato Hill for themselves and take the win at the end.
One of the slowest teams to rotate as well. They took their sweet time. I think at one point it was Circle 3. All the teams were just focusing on that center area, and Yangon Galacticos were the ones towards the north. I really enjoyed how they were able to surprise Alter Ego. Alter Ego was not expecting the team to be able to come up from behind them. And then, I mean, for Yangon Galacticos, I think they were waiting in Potato Hill. You were saying during that break too, while we were watching the game, they just waited for so long.
That's the scary thing about Potato Hill, right? Like, you can have multiple teams exist up there and them also have very decent defensive positions as well. So for Yangon, they took that fight perfectly against Alter Ego, who was going to be a huge threat. And then Team Secret moves in later here, Max.
I mean, actually looking at Team Secret, they also had a really good match this time around. 11 points on the board. Again, a normally pretty silent team, but they were going quite aggressive here versus Yangon Galacticos, trying to push uphill, Potato Hill, claim all of the northeastern edge, and also keeping teams down low, such as Weibo, away from the fight. So actually, Team Secret, they showed me a little bit more than what we saw back in the group stage. Sets up a very good precedent here for the finals.
Yeah, for Team Secret, I would have actually loved them to commit to that fight against Yangon Galacticos, even though they were being able to control in Potato Hill. I don't know if you agree or disagree with me on this one, but ultimately, they were going to have to take that fight at one point or another.
I'm scared that if they take the fight onto Yangon Galacticos a little bit earlier, teams such as maybe Weibo can just full send it and third party that fight and just wrap up the chicken dinner. I do get why they were delaying it, but the more you delay it, the bigger advantage you're giving to Yangon, and then you just cannot win that fight anymore.
That says, whilst we took a look at the points, Alpha Gaming once again being able to get into some of the later stages of this match here, Seven.
It came down to what they were able to do with the 4 vehicles. They had 4 vehicles being able to just create a big barrier. And on top of that, for this team, they kept getting blessed by the circle. They really didn't have to do much. They were able to just hold off a lot of people. And that's the scariest thing with this team. We know they have the fragging power. We know if they set themselves in a position where they actually have the full squad, they're going to be super scary, and they were able to showcase it perfectly in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, if they're able to survive a little bit more like that every single match, that one big chicken dinner could set them apart from the rest of the lobby.
It's Yangon wall-to-wall for our match report here. Not too much surprise considering the space that they were able to control. Say Cloud, as you were mentioning before, Max, looking fantastic in this game.
Yeah, I mean, almost 1.4k damage right there. He is very high in that one angle.
I didn't make a noise.
Yeah, do the noise.
Wow! There you go.
I missed that.
I mean,
actually,
it's been actually
worth it.
Over a year since I've been able to make a noise. So there you go.
It's been so long.
I know.
Next is going to be a jingle. We got to figure out a jingle.
I'll figure out a jingle. Don't you worry. I don't know who.
I thought it was going to be on the spot, man.
That would have been insane.
Look, we're seeing some replays actually of the Car 4 here from Alpha Gaming, and we don't have hovercraft. We've got hovercraft at home. It's just a 4-car fortress created on the edge of Potato Hill, and it was really good to get them in that podium finish at the end. The Nongshan Red Force, I think that was a team that you and me both wanted to talk about here, actually, Seven. Their breach onto Ida's Harry Potter Tower, I like the idea going for the breach, but it took so long to wrap up that fight. Big third parties from Weibo in particular did come through at the end.
That's the thing right there. I was talking about this too, the Fireflux and Nongshan Red Force, especially with Nongshan Red Force. I was talking about how this team just tends to play so slow that they might not be used to just making those quick pushes, and I felt like it showcased perfectly in that scenario right there. And then on top of that, for Fireflux, they were also trying to do a crash on WBG. They seemed like they got ahead too. They ended up getting a knock, but they were just too slow to react and ends up backing away. For this teams, they got to be able to adjust on how aggressive the lobby is.
I think Nongshan was happy to gamble on that compound, right? Because if it does go to that compound, the circle, then it's so hard for these teams to push into that. So they were also thinking about where they were going to transition and how they were going to transition, Max. It's just, it gets dicey trying to go up to the Wizard Tower, trying to do something there and keep yourself going in the late stages.
You cannot say the Nongshan don't know the terrain. They know in that specific circle, that compound with the 3 buildings is just exceptionally strong and able to defend it quite well until the very end of the game. Then they do have to go onto the Harry Potter Tower. Though if we go on teams that try and crash on those positions, I kind of want to pivot the conversation over to Power.
Sure.
I think we're very indecisive. They had two options. Maybe you fight Regnum Karya, maybe you fight the side of Nongshim Red Force. They decide to send it in the center between those two teams, and unfortunately because of that, they just don't survive at all in the later stage. I think at that point, you pick a compound, you breach it, and you just hope for the best.
There's, of course, Al-Hajj's dad as Power, as you mentioned in. It was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of situation, Seven, right? Like, even if they choose another option that isn't that kind of road through the middle of those compounds, it's still going to be very difficult.
Focus, and the Nongshim Red Force guy was able to knock him.
Yeah, there was only so much you can do with that explosive bow, right? Like, he was just saying, okay, I don't know exactly where you are at that wizard tower, so I'm just going to spam into it. And as you said, that really has your full focus, your full attention.
Thrives, okay,
Yes.
4 Thrives.
right.
We had the hot drop in the first game. This time around, we talked. They were. For me, this game, they weren't indecisive. They actually made a the round Falcons on the western side. Just a little bit too excited about that fight, a little bit too involved, and they just wanted to rush it, and that caused their demise at the end versus Falcons.
And I feel like from that indecisiveness that we've been talking about during group stages, maybe that's why they became so impatient, because they're trying to change that, and I'm hoping that they don't end up overdoing it.
All right, well, let's get to it then. Let's see if all of these teams can put those learnings into practice for our second Erangel of the day.
Halfway point of the day, game 3 already. Some trials and tribulations for teams that were looking very dominant back in the group stage. Some good head-to-heads and some interesting PUBG Mobile up to this point blank. We've seen the crowd getting excited, rooting for their hometown heroes, seeing who's going to be able to walk away at the top of the standings today. Intense action, and you'd imagine a lot more of that to continue. Right here. right now.
I'm not very amazing. Usage of the
Scary as well for Fireflux as a roster overall, because I think that squad, you know, we were sort of talking about this idea of being able to build your confidence, feed the hot hand, keep that momentum going. They've been hitting dead stops again and again, where it feels like, you know, the floor falls out from underneath them, they're not able to build themselves, not getting too late into these games.
all for naught here.
If you're one of these squads,
top side and at least get as close as possible to first place or be in first place to open up match point on day 3.
that's on screen. Barrage of bullets goes out on the drive-by. DRX trapped in position here. Bit of chip damage onto 2 players. Trying to take some shots back. Make it uneasy for them to just hold. Locked in position on these angles.
I'm surprised QZZ actually got through there.
Yeah.
Obviously he was snaking it a little bit, but the shot didn't seem too hard to hit, and I think that he was playing so wobbly that it caught even Falcons off balance there. Now they have to send back over towards a more secure location. Can't afford to hold up DRX for much longer. They're going to all jump in the water and rotate across to their buddy, who is on the north coast, playing around the beachhead. Only a couple of teams still yet to make their way in. It's Ida as well as Regnum Kaya. The upstarts from Turkey versus the Titans. Going head to head here in Rozhok, both teams will need to leave soon, as there's a lot of squads already confirming over towards Sosnovka.
Late aquatic rotate as well for Origo there, keeping themselves distance on the wrap round the back. And like you say, Regnum Kaya and Ida potentially thrown into a bit of a fist fight where maybe only one of them limps away. Ooh, limited space inside of the zone as well. Large body of water removing play space between these teams.
Horror can just move across, should be able to move across pretty comfortably as well. I don't think this is too treacherous of a path for them. No Indiana Jones style type of traps on that bridge right now as Scarface starts to move over towards the west. So this is a real easy rotate for them. For Regnum Kaya Ida though, yet less of a ease of access, but they could head over towards the coastal side on Erangel main island, swim across or just send the vehicles in and try and play on that beachhead, which is definitely a possibility, especially as we start to move further north on this circle. Teams could try for that one. DRX had, it's just a surprisingly easy approach. Hardly any clapback coming through from the Falcons.
Vahiden from a distance, able to keep them pinned at bay on their rotate over. Meanwhile, you've seen in the elim feed that 4 Thrives took the fight straight to Team Secret, forced them out of position, but made it really uncomfortable here. Down to just a solo player, handling them with ease, confirming onto those knocks as well, 1 by 1. So stealing away a couple of elimination points, which for them could be a good start to get them dialed into the actual action. Over from the sideline, that's the final steal onto Team Secret coming out from Thunderdogs.
Yeah, Secret are struggling. Yeah, they really couldn't figure out anywhere to go there. Constantly bumping into teams left, right, and center. And it turns out their over-aggressive push down over towards Yangon Galacticos is the thing to force that final nail in their coffin. Power still hitting some nasty shots over towards Weibo, playing on that coastal side. I mean, that drops Weibo now down to just the 2 players. Don't think they're getting Sook back up again. Al-Haji is going to wait for this fish to resurface.
He knows he's got to come up for air at some point. He can sit pretty and wait to finish that man off. So Power looking to just take away points where possible. He'll just commit to it. Left in the blue, gone for good, down in the deep depths.
Magnum Kai's still in Moscow. Lost school now, actually. It's crazy on the indecision where they're happy to send straight out when it's around Rozhok area. But when we get Sosnovka finished, they decide that they're going to stick on the northern side of the map for a long time. We'll see how they play this one, because the play area is getting very limited now. Especially even over towards this north side of the map. Grandma's pretty much taken for Fireflux. The small compounds that are available on that side. Pretty much going to be playing around the tree line, but potentially over towards the western side, or using that ridge as cover, as we do confirm even further over towards the north here. I think we're on zone 3 now, so the circle and the blue will start to tickle quite a bit before we head towards stage 4, where it's advisable not to still be in that blue for too long.
You do wonder if that'll be a bit of paralysis by analysis there for Regnum Karya, taking a very slow approach this one. A snail's pace that could come back to bite them in the bottom. We'll see. They're starting to get a bit of a move on now, though, and so are the remaining squads on the periphery of the zone here. Slowly advancing further forward. You were fragmented down towards the south side. It was a bit uncomfortable. A bit of a push up now. Alpha Gaming coming over, 4 Thrives in position there as well. Nongshing Red Force feels like they've been really willing to take a good majority of their fights, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some sparks starting to fly, especially with this rotate coming in from Ida.
Oh, Nongshing Red Force has a real glint in their eye during these games. An aggressive team, a hunger for team fights. And you're right in the sense that they're a scary team to come up against, because you just never know when they're going to pull that trigger. It might just be you that faces the ire of Nongshing Red Force in the end. Falcons find themselves a nice central position on this circle, though. We'll see what they can get done with it. Usually Falcons can find themselves up towards the late game with 4 players. Tend to do quite well. It's that interim period of getting to around about zone 7, which is very shaky on the side of Falcons. There's some big nerves before they lock in.
Ragnar here, priming the nade. Alley-oop, over the top. Oh, the bounce on it. Oh, he's been eating nitro for breakfast, blows them away.
That is crazy. Crazy of a nade. The arc on that one as well. Dear me.
You love to see it. The Power fans are going to have their eyes light up at that one. Already 4 eliminations for the squad, topping the charts at the minute in the lobby. In a good position to keep building, especially with Yangon going out early as well. There's room for Power to ebb and flow their way through the standings. Hora turning their attention back round. That's Moana from Alter Ego that takes a knock.
Alter Ego was always going to struggle. They had to play all the way to the eastern side. A lot of other areas were taken. They dropped the smoke over towards Moana. But Rosemary's worried whether this is even worth going for. The res on this starts to back out and allow Rosemary time to crawl back through that smoke, but I think it does feel like a little an abandoned ship here for him, and Sleepy will draw him low and put him back to sleep. Not sure what E-Arena's game plan's been here, but they have taken a nasty punishment on that south side. One player even going down towards the blue there. Get a replay on this one because this was disgusting. They lined up the right time, start to turn it, and pretty much as they turn, the nade fumbles through the window.
Very Maxim-esque on the nade. Maxman's going to be loving that one. TW getting thrown into the action here as well. It's Alpha Gaming, but they're taking some serious damage. So 4 Fries continuing to attempt to build here. Get themselves into a position where they feel handy with their steal. This was always going to be an issue for Alter as well on the rotate. You had power ahead of you. They go for the wide berth round back through the blue, kick off the engagement. It's the third party as well, with Fireflux being able to find damage from the backline. So easy suffering there.
That was unreal. Steps out onto the side C. We'll find one. Rosemary gives his life for the rest of the team to get further into the circle. And Fireflux will take the reins off the back of that fight versus Power. Now down to 3 players, but 5 elims. Not a bad start for them this game. Heading up towards 15 minutes into this one. Solus attempts to hit the shots, but he's off target.
Yeah, bullets just whizzing by. None of them connecting, and the problem is that opens an opportunity for the counterplay from Power. So instantly on target, they respond back over and stop what could have been a hell of a scorer there from Fireflux. Instead, in reality, it's just catch. At least he's got some heavy armor to work with diving inside the hovercraft, but he's got to peace out, got to give up the goose.
Let's leave it alone. That could have been a great third party. It could have been an amazing third party. You're right in terms of the roaming wall in the hovercraft being the biggest boon here for him. Has to wander back, let it explode. This is not the most ideal location for him to end up. There's these shots coming through from earlier. Back with some fantastic maneuvers. Again, such a precise player. Never over-egging the pudding as well when it comes to those peaks. Really, really nice to watch when he's on form.
Yeah, playing the angle perfectly, like you say, it's the peaks. Really nicely played for him, keeping himself in cover, taking some clean firefights. Ooh, this might be anything but clean. Close quarters engagement. The shot from the side, good for one, but the backstab from Silas at least stops it before it got out of hand. If he was able to find even more damage there, suddenly you're thinking, ooh, this is again another game where Regnankari feel like they should be able to build. And again, actually, it's interesting to see how Regnankari are going to play this one out. Obviously, it's a far slower game from them. They're in the forefront of it now. That chase has not stopped at all as well. Power going from target to target. Everyone running them down. It's TW again now, pushing up. They've got angles, but smoke's down to provide some cover for the quick heals.
Good elim count though so far, 7, highest in the lobby. 4th Thrive's just 1 elim behind that. Singh's going to move forward over towards Al-Haji, confirmed towards him. Gets caught underneath the wheel, wrapped up in burnt rubber. TW sent back over towards the rest of the team. Another shift on the circle here. Regnankari do need to move out, and you're right, they were laying the brickwork on the south side for a better match here, but it is Nongshim Red Force, Alter Ego, and Weibo all controlling this high ground. It is a very fun circle to end up on. A lot of cheeky maneuvers that are available here.
Vader with the nades. Just slightly off target. The problem is you've got a few establishing shots that have been fired in from the back as well. Falcons taking a bit of a scout onto it, trying to spread themselves thinner to keep the pressure on. Ragnar with the spot in the vehicle, quick scout, makes his move back so they can play as a duo still and work off one another. Actually gets the drive-by. The bonnet is enough. That's TW losing so much from this.
Goodness me, I mean, Power doing that on their own as well versus TW is very, very impressive. They had that number for such a long time, but we switched mobiles there and left in the dust Regnum Kaya look to send up. They're heading over towards Ida once again. It feels like these two Turkish teams consistently
साहब अगर आप 40 चिकन करे तो
one another.
आउट ऑफ जोन है भाई ओ उसको छोड़ तू बता
Gonna send far over towards Alter Ego.
Please
Alva,
challenge
as well
me
as
and I am
Krypton.
challenged for TT.
Oh, just nipping the back of the heel for
No!
Krypton is enough to shut him down. An instant connection from Silas onto Alva as well. It's a good heads-up play. You're saying, look, they're going to cast round towards Ida. Instead, they avoid that cut, center circle, straight path, shut down a big squad there as well, stop them from stealing away points.
And get a fairly decent position. We know how much Regnum Kaya do like their ditches. So, like you say, they do avoid the Turkish tussle over towards the western side and instead confirm on a very, very central position. Regnum Kaya down in 12th place right now. 4 points total with just the 3 elims on this game. They desperately need a big one here if they want to stay in the conversation over towards the top side of the lobby.
Finally going for finished off by Falak there.
5 kill है फलक के पैन दी फ्री 7 में 5 kill फलक के
He's going off this game. It makes sense as well. I mean, he's always been such a strong player.
Oh!
Now steps up. Falak won't quite find it, but 8 nades.
जाएगा नेट पे जाएगा
He's probably going down.
जाएगा नेट पे ये ओ गया चलो
Only took one, still 7 in the pocket for play later. The crowd enjoying that one.
फ्री 8 में वे 6 किल फलक के हैं ठाकुर साहब
And his brother in arms finished off. Falak certainly showing us what he's made of, and the Falcon still attempting to find opportunities to scramble some points away on this one.
Top 4
मैं कह रहा हूँ जोन छोड़ तू बता चैलेंज है कोई
need to equalize now. We're looking at Ida, Weibo, 4 Thrive. 8 elims this match, which is phenomenal by the way. 6 of them on Falak so far, and he looks to
बड़ा है अभी खेल रहा लोंडा
up slightly, just a little bit to the left. They may have just found that knock. Look, they explode the vehicle instead.
नोकी नेट कराते हुए नेट
जाएगा
नेट पे जाएंगे
just be far enough, but they turn tail and run and sprint. They'll have to.
You are so low though. Bounce around
Gaya.
the tree. Redox on the ground, but it's not enough for the follow-up. T24 with that one. Enough allo is so far.
Both heavy, both
He's
hard.
in for cover, but it's just him now.
This feels like classic.
1v2 करते हुए नोकी यहाँ पे
The nade play has been wonderful to watch. 4 players sweeping in from that eastern side, and from fight to fight, they've looked strong. Not really been much response their way either. Very much a one-sided argument for 4th Thrive so far. Now he's been sent over now to DRX. This is from Horror attempting to cut their way in on the northeast side. Regnum Kaya much more concerned right now with the beast lying in wait on the east side and 4 Thrives.
That's what we wanted to see. 4 Thrives, not just surviving, but like we've said time and time again, absolutely thriving in the lobby, living up to their old tricks, showing us the powerhouse that they could really be. Aura here trapped in commotion versus DRX as well, no fear. He bails out, quick move. Silas still finding impact in the Elim feed as another squad feels the wrath of Regnum Kaya.
33Z going down. Now we're in a full-on brawl, likely to spark soon between 4 Thrives as well as Regnum Kaya, but it's Horror coming in from that north edge. T24 will stand at the forefront as the banger versus Horror. IQ playing far back down towards the southeast, trying to gather some information over towards Regnum Kaya. And all the while, Nongshan Red Force has been living it large inside their mansion, almost.
Yeah, living their movie, sitting pretty. No one's contested them. They really haven't had to do too much whatsoever to get closer and closer towards some sweet, sweet high-end placement points on this one. Falak, though, finally comes unstuck. He's been ripping and tearing his way through everyone in this lobby, but now you've got to play medic if you want to save him. IQ from the side, hits back onto Sky, Sleepy, closing the gap with the scout in play, bails out the vehicle. The shots connect as well. 4 Thrives losing a lot of their stock on this one now.
T24 भी knock हो गया
They will find a couple, and Wild will find another knock. Falcons go down to DRX as they try to get involved in this one. But it's JALADxLIVE taking that opportunity. It's a perfect opportunity for them to swing round on that southeast edge. They want to clear as many teams as possible for Thrive to move back over towards Horror here. And for JALADxLIVE, that was a lovely trade for them.
Aura going to be dropping the hoorah as the energy's there. You've still got to contain yourself, reset from the angles that are in play. Sleepy, no clear. They're split up. Back over onto Ida as well, and this story continues. Onto Ida, and Nongshim Red Force finally. They get thrown a bit of a deathly blow, as there'll be a connection back over from JALADxLIVE.
Handling, keep them at bay here, and it has to be done as we get through in towards our next circles. Most teams desperate for this one to move away from Nongshim Red Force, but will it ever? Directly on top of them, and realistically for a lot of our other teams, they're playing for second now. Nongshim Red Force, as aggressive team as they are, will just have to bide their time. They're going to have to sit still and just make sure that blood doesn't thump too hard, and they get the signal to send out the building with the rage that is building.
Getting ants in your pants at a time like this could be the worst outcome for them. You've got to say, I mean, props to JALADxLIVE, very proactive heads-up gameplay right now with the fights that they've been willing to take. They started slow, but they have not stopped since they found momentum. Nades being thrown back out as well, trying to get that one on target down towards Aura. And then DRX ushered further forward, slowly advancing, looking to play off one another with cover. Sleepy in the vehicle makes a move. Ida still getting hit by the play zone as well.
Really could not move at all here. JALADxLIVE is trying to slow things down. Thinking they're looking for that second place here. They know they need to get the placement as well as the elims. It's tough for them. It's difficult. Aaron, start play coming through from Ida. Wanders through onto that western side. Will make a quick sweep before making the pit stop on the northwest side of Nongshim Red Force. Nade just stopped short there of Horror. JALADxLIVE has got a different
चिकन कर लेते ना, ये 10 किल तो हुए थे और भी किल निकल आते हैं और चिकन हो जाता हो पहला दूसरा नंबर पकड़ लेते हैं आराम से.
Aaron can just keep his nose clean as well. He's got some hard cover to work with the airdrops that are close by. So just tucks himself in position. Straight down the middle. Here's the push up though from JALADxLIVE. Instant engagement from Bloxy, who locks on, and Sleepy is down and out. No fear, barely standing tall as well. So much damage done from the engagement.
It's going to be a long
way. I don't
think it's going to go far enough. I think you're best off holding these nades for the initial push that's going to happen over towards Nongshim Red Force, and that is good resource control there from JALADxLIVE. You can see Wild's got 3 nades, I think Silas had 6, but they don't want to expend too many here versus No Fear. They definitely have some that are expendable, but they need them if they want to push over. But it's good to know that there is at least a plan in the mind of JALADxLIVE of how they're going to assault this building.
Got Aaron as well, throwing out nades on the push-up from Hyunbin. That's what I was saying. He tucked himself into an angle to actually make it kind of uncomfortable. Ooh, Nongshim Red Force baited into this one potentially, though. Looking for a look over the top of the ridge. Aaron trying to keep himself down. Nades coming in. Firsts on target. Follow-up's good. Doxy dismantles Ida. They're out of the running now.
There is a slight distraction here. Going through up towards Nongshim Red Force. I think that JALADxLIVE is going to try and play this one out for Zone 9, honestly, and hope that this is not central. I don't think it is, and it will force Nongshim Red Force out. But Toshbik sends in first and will manage to get towards the backside here. Nongshim Red Force weren't able to control it, and Nongshim Red Force, they see red. They move out of the building, and JALADxLIVE has picked up position.
DRX are dealing damage and handling themselves up close and personal. For Nongshim, it's going wrong. Binny now with a thin veil of smoke to protect himself, but look at all of the nades. Everyone priming these from the top of the roof, dashing them down. They had such a power play position for so damn long, but the minute they advance, DRX makes it uncomfortable. And Binny, you're living on borrowed time. JALADxLIVE, if they find this one, they're setting themselves up for a huge chicken dinner.
10 points on the game and plenty more eliminations to be found here for Regnum Kaya. Like we said before, they've been holding on to these resources. They knew the angle they'd need to take. Silas goes down, but not before a nade sent through. Sizzy goes out, and it will be Regnum Kaya looking for the big finish here versus DRX Jackie.
They just need that final knock. Convert this one, close it down. The slow build-up. Oh, and that's enough. All it takes, the push-up from the zone, being the 5th man in the lobby for Regnum Kaya, as they're able to convert that one. A great game, good decision-making. The third parties were on point, and they walk away with a chicken dinner here in the playoffs.
It's a big game for them, a much-needed match. The top 4 went out early as well, as we talked about, so this will bump Regnum Kaya back up towards that top side of the tables. But for Nongshim Red Force, like we said, that force from them builds quite a bit. The rage needs to be contained. They can't always be looking for these massively aggressive plays. They could have sit still for a little bit longer, but that leg was jiggling and they wanted to get it moving.
Yeah, baited out by the last man from Ida. Eren just behind the box, causes problems against DRX. They swoop in thinking we could just clean up on this one, take it all home, but it was not a spilled drink. They did not clean it easy, and it presented opportunities for this team on your screens to run away with it.
Regnum Kaya make it messy towards the end zone. But we're going to clean it up right now, and we'll take you to a break, in which case we'll come back with the desk.
This land is calling.
Pulsar Legionnaire available now. First outfit with special head animations and voice lines. The Pulsar Legionnaire set comes with its own super cute voice lines that can be toggled on or off.
What happened? Bye, friend. Hello, Earth. I'm here.
It also features the upgradable Hyperion ship DSR. And Jet Reaver Glider with special animations. Experience parachuting like never before. That's not all. Even more rewards await. Event period, July 25th, 2025 through August 26th, 2025. What are you waiting for? Get the new guild set now.
Regnum Carrier capitalizes on the entire nation of South Korea and is able to wrestle away, or barely wrestle away, that compound there from Nongshim Red Force to get themselves the victory. Joining me, Neptura, as well as Seven, to talk about this one. Neptura, this raised some questions, but Regnum Carrier looking strong.
They are looking strong. After a confusing start, for me personally, they are looking very, very strong indeed. I'm not sure what was happening in the early game. They were still in Roshawk in phase 2, still in the blue, still out there in phase 3 even, but I actually really liked their wide wraparound, and it really set them off for the rest of the game.
I mean, you got to give credit to Regnum Carrier. Even though they did end up rotating late, I really enjoyed the crashes that they were able to do. This team was just really confident. They were able to crash on 2 players from APG. After that, they made sure that they made Fourth Thrives actually back off, and that's what's ultimately a bit of Fourth Thrives demise there, because they didn't want to take over Regnum Carrier. But looking at the overall the match ranking here, the RX still being able to put up some points.
Yeah, very impressive by them on the north side. They were fighting, I think it's fair to say. Okay, let's just instantly address it.
Yes.
Nongshim Red Force.
Great team.
It's 7 points from that here, Seven. It's a bit of a disaster considering what you should have been able to get from this game.
Yeah, you're an evil person.
I'm old now.
You would send it to me too, because man, I was fuming as soon as I saw this team leave the compound after not doing absolutely a damn thing throughout the whole match, saying this is why this team is so passive. You were saying it perfectly too, Cal. You thought that this team was going to end up maybe a little bit scared of getting sandwiched, but even then, just try to use that utility. There was already so many smokes there on that compound, and you decide to give the high ground to Regnum Carrier of all teams?
The green room was in shambles, weren't we? When they made that play, it was like, what are you doing? I mean, if you want to go for a harebrained push like that, at least just use 2. If you're going to go, oh, we've got some opening knocks onto DRX. No, I don't agree with it at all. But I would agree with it better than sending all 4 off of those houses. It shouldn't have been done in the first place, but it is what it is. And Regnum Carrier, I will say Regnum Carrier's timing on that, as soon as they saw, hang on a second, they've made a massive blunder. We can take advantage of this. They full sent to that. It was really, really nicely played from them. I do want to go very quickly back to Regnum, though, because that initial south rotation early on in the game, it actually was a really good play for them, because they were able to come up behind Fourth Thrives, behind APG as well. And as those teams moved up and got fought on that hillside, they were actually able to come up and sandwich behind them. So it was actually really well set up from them as well. So coming in through that and then getting all that momentum, third-partying everything they could find up against a Nongshim who hasn't done anything all game except sit in a compound and then make a mistake. I mean, it was a very easy win for them.
Yeah, for Regnum Carrier, it just came down to that aggression that they were showing throughout that match. But let's go back to Nongshim Red Force. Yeah. You were talking about maybe sending 2. Don't send in anybody.
No.
What are you doing? What are you doing giving your high ground to another team? And if they were gonna be wanting to do anything, we were actually talking about this, maybe try to set up a player on the roof of that compound, because you already have utility. You didn't have to do anything throughout the match. You can use that utility to defend yourself from DRX and be ready for any type of push that Regnum Carrier was gonna have to do on you.
If anything, it would have yielded more limbs. Never mind like a potential win or something like that. But anyway, that's by the by. Other teams that we want to focus on as well. Good old Fourth Thrives. The team that Mr. Seven did pick do well. Talk to me.
I mean, it was just an amazing play out of this team. Being able to rotate early on to the southwest of the military island. After that, they were able to spot that APG had moved on. And I think this is one thing that Max and I were talking about throughout the match. We were expecting APG to actually be in military apartments. They gave that up, and Fourth Thrives was able to take full advantage of it. You can see exactly why, as Falak was able to get 6 eliminations, and I actually enjoyed what Falak was doing. He still overextended a little bit there towards the end. The team was a bit too split, and Hora ended up just capitalizing on that. But before that, they were just being proactive. They were showing the aggression that we have seen out of this team in group stage.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I really liked Falak's nade over onto Power, right? Was it Ragnar, the last player? He actually, with that nade, not only got rid of a team, but he opened up a position for his own team, right? So they were able to push on top of that. So he, even though he does overextend just a little bit, he's doing so much for his team as an entry point.
Well, if you want to extend on that too, this team kept on sweeping. That's what I enjoyed, wanting to gain control. And if we talk about sweeping, one team that was able to do that great was Power.
Yeah, they were looking good. They were looking good for it. But I'm getting word that we are ready to head over to Barney, who is actually with Suk from Weibo after their couple of games here for the grand final.
Welcome back to the main stage where I've got Sook here from Weibo Gaming. We are 3 maps into day 1 of the grand finals and things are starting to heat up already. Sook, the first thing I want to ask you, it's the grand finals. You guys are performing pretty well straight off the bat. I want to ask you how you feel like your games are going so far, what can be improved on and what's going well.
首先就是你们现在已经到了总决赛嘛，然后在总决赛当中，你们今天一开始的时候感觉状态还是挺好的，就是打的成绩也不错。就想问你个人来讲的话，你觉得你今天发挥怎么样呢？哪里有什么要进步的，以及要调整的吗？
还好，只不过我们在世界赛这个舞台好像有一些困难需要去克服，就比如说对手他的一些不按套路出牌，然后他们 可能做出一些针对，比如说我们上一把的海岛，在机场被 Power 所针对了一下，因为
चलो PUBG वालों ऑफिशियल थी फ्री इनकी भाई PUBG वाले ऑफिशियल की स्ट्रीम ही नहीं चल रही लानत नहीं
themselves correctly, but also being more aggressive with these things, you know. We saw some really great pushes, some really good timing, some really good third parties, and I want to predict that they will win a game today because that's how they're looking.
Yeah, we'll go back on Horror in a bit.
We will.
I'm actually impressed at just first place to 8th place, currently only being separated by 8 points.
Whoa.
This might be the closest first 3 games we have ever had at an international.
Before we even move on, I want you to take a look at Power. Power's all points are just coming in from eliminations. I've never seen that before, especially for a team that's in top 4.
Well, it's consistent with their brand, right? Because let's be real, in the, I think it was either group stages or survival, I think it was like 40 elims compared to about 10 or 15 placement points. So we know that they can frag out. And usually Neptura, as we take a look through a 9th and 16th, when a team is able to frag out like that, eventually placement points will come. So maybe this is a good omen for Power.
I should hope so. I've really enjoyed how they played so far today. I do agree that I think we are going to see probably a lot more placements coming their way because we've seen it from them before as well, haven't we? Certainly in the survival stage, they were doing a lot in terms of those placement points, really able to control those end zones and getting a win a lot of the time. So it's bound to happen.
The way that they've been aggressive, that's what was impressive to me in that last match. The way that they were able to spread out, they were showing us exactly how they were able to play in survival stage, making sure they had those big splits, get a big area on the zone, and going to Hora, they're pretty much doing the same thing too. They were having 1-2-1 splits that worked out wonders for them, and at the end, took the fight to 4 drives and actually won it until they got their party.
I've been impressed by their glow up from group stage through into survival stage and now here in the final. Let's see if they can continue it as well. But also, we have another opportunity for you guys at home to be involved, because starting from August the 1st, that's today, we have the PDP Global Fashion Icon Contest officially kicking off. So the cool thing about this competition is it accepts both in-game outfit design submissions as well as people participating by showcasing their real-life outfits for you guys to wear at home in real life as well. So use your sense of fashion to influence the world, and the total prize pool can reach up to $120,000. To participate or view detailed rules, please visit the PDP section on the official PUBG mobile website or follow the official social media accounts. Exciting stuff. I think, Seven, you've got a great fashion sense. You could win. I'm just lying, of course. All right, well, let's head on over to Barney now, as well as Veracity. They're ready to kick off the half time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Qiddiya Esports Arena, where we are halfway through day one of the Grand Finals, and things are really starting to heat up. The spectacle is growing. We've had some amazing performances so far, and it's starting to heat up. Veracity.
It certainly is, Barney. I'm super excited for the first day of our Grand Finals here in the Qiddiya Esports Arena. We've had some fantastic games so far.
We have, haven't we? I'm buzzing. So, map number 1, Power started extremely strong. 6 eliminations on the board, but only 1 player remained, and it was easy, securing a further 3 eliminations, bringing their total to 9. But the final face-off was between Alter Ego Esports and Alter Ego Ares, in fact, let's get it right, and EDA Esports. Alter Ego managing to secure the winner-winner chicken dinner and 23 points on the board.
You know what, though, Barney? In match 2, we saw an incredibly defensive team coming on through, which was a far cry from the performance of top 3 placements we saw coming out from them during the survival stage. However, our final fight saw Yangon Galacticos and Team Secret going head-to-head, with Yangon Galacticos walking away victorious in that one with 12 eliminations under their belt. You get up there, Barney?
Yeah, you know what? I'm actually starting to like it. Not bothered.
All right, in which case we'll go ahead and leave you up there. Match 3, however, with Yangon Galacticos having a giant target on their back, they were understandably the very first team to get eliminated during that one. It was grenades galore all throughout the match. However, for Fourth Rise and Power Esports, each eliminations each, but unfortunately neither of them were able to make it to the final stages of the match. Instead, however, we saw Regnum Caria walking away with a winner-winner chicken dinner. How about that one?
You know that this isn't over, but for now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to get ready for map number 4 of day 1 of the Grand Finals.
There it is, map number 4 coming your way, our final Erangel of the day before we head into back-to-back Miramars. It's been a lot of fun watching the front ends of the matches, and now it's time to watch the back end and see if some of our teams towards the bottom, who might be on the struggle bus, very early going, however, start to rise up. I'm Taylor Reflections, and we're joined by John. And John, I'm excited to get this one started, brother, because last game was nutty. We had, of course, that military end zone. Super sad I wasn't a part of it. I love military zones. Hoping we get one here, but did see a bit of some fumbles. I don't know, maybe some grand final nerves starting to come out.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that Nongshim Red Force's decisions were at best questionable in those final moments. They were having a bit of a nightmare in that final scenario. Very quiet all game. They were timid and hiding behind the curtains of their buildings, but in the end, they made that wrong call. They pushed out and Regnum Caria able to sweep them under the rug. It has been quite a different story in each of our matches. That's what's led to the tables being as they are. It is very, very close towards the top side. There is no clear front runner right now, even if we've got a team at the top of the tables. As much as it's nice to be there, it is not a secure place. So, with another Erangel to play today, we are going to be kicking things off for one more grassy pastures. I can see they've gotten rid of Barney off that stage. His square has descended and he's allowed back to the green room. He can have a drink of water, get refreshed, because it is about to get messy.
Let's get it going. Game number 4, back to Erangel, and time to see who's ready to perform and who is ready, well, to drop the ball. It's going to be a fun one without question. Fourth Rise, been looking for them to step it up. They're not doing too bad necessarily. 18 points, 9th place, but first place after all with Alter Ego is just at 28. Very doable. It's only day 1, 3 games in. No alarm bells ringing just yet. Maybe we'll start some tomorrow when we get into game 4, 5, and 6. I do want to see Horta, though, do a lot better than where they currently are at 13. I really think that's a roster that performed very, very well throughout the group stages, obviously throughout the survival stages. But today, been falling a bit flat. And the same could be said for Team Falcons, who obviously the home team going for that club championship race. That's a roster that needs a top 8 finish. Right now in 15th, just 1 spot away from the bottom.
It's not friendly to be down there. Of course, you've got 18 matches left to play. It's a longer set than the 12 we've been used to seeing for each of our teams over the survival stage, over those group stages as well. So a little bit more leeway on these slightly lower than expectations performances. But hopefully they can pick up the pace here in match number 4 on the day, as our top players do slide on past our eyeballs. You can see Al Haji
with the support from his father, of course, having a good time. Circle pops, and we're heading out to the east side of Erangel.
Love this zone. I think it's going to be a bit spicy for the military zone players. Well, they get a little bit of a profit, I think, at least for two teams, if I'm not mistaken, who consistently land down over at military. Maybe we throw in a third, but you do have to kind of start thinking ahead of the game, man. At that western, or should be that eastern bridge might be a bit spicy, but here tonight, what do we see?
Fireflux and Horror both will come into contact with one another on their, maybe not a hot drop, but on those vehicles. They are going to get contested. At the moment, there is a knock sent over towards Horror, but Fireflux playing on as 3 as they have had a player confirmed down and out. That is not good news to kick things off, especially given where the circle has fallen on this east side.
Yeah, without a doubt, and for Fireflux especially, being all the way at the bottom, I feel they have had some shining moments throughout our tournaments, but today, they've fallen very flat and already losing a player that's going to put their backs even further against the wall. Looks to be getting their teammate back up into the fight, so that's going to be good news for them. A team, again, that performed very well throughout the previous days, looking to step it up here. Sleepy is going to be split off in the distance. Luckily for him, he's going to be just fine. Nobody looking to contest. We do have Power and Ragnum Karya relatively close. Now, we did notice one of the interesting things about Power is no placement points, but they're still up there in the top 4 because of the eliminations.
Ooh, maybe another elim for Ida, but no, not quite able to connect. Yeah, absolutely correct. The desk was highlighting it as well, of course, with Power not able to get into the placements on any of their 3 matches, but still being in the top 5 is insane, right? And they are right on the doorstep of potentially doing a little bit more. So if they're able to do this in these early game scraps, a much more heavy elimination focus, you know, taking inspiration from the likes of IHC a couple of years back and making sure that they are primarily focused in these scenarios. If they can get into these late games, if they can get a chicken dinner or 2 on board, bolster up those placements, it is a fearsome roster to be worried about. As we hop on board with the Falcons, though, up towards Pachinki. They don't have any contest here, but it has not been a nice sight to see if you're a Falcons fan, and I know there's plenty out there in the arena.
That's right.
And they aren't going to be too happy with them for the time being. 2 points average on the games they've played, that's not good.
But we got to appreciate having Pachinki to yourselves. For Falcons, that's plenty of loot they're going to have, especially going into the next zone, which is getting tightly contested. For Falcons, they should have an easy transition in, depending on where DRX chooses to land. And, well, for DRX, they're going to leave 1 player out and maybe be the scout for the roster. See how that ends up unfolding. For Power's sake, though, they continue to move central zone, where Ragnum Karya are currently at. Fireflux and Nogsham Red Force not far behind. Could get a little bit spicy as a lot of vehicles are moving, teams are traveling, and they're starting to lock in those hardcover POIs.
Power Esports drawing up in the garage there. They will be playing all 3 of them stopping off on the building. And they are sending another further on out. So we get a replay. This is that hot drop. Matcap, okay. It was 2 players with knives. And in the end, Sky was able to tag him for 1, and then Sleepy chefed him up. Something awful over in the garage there. Only the pistol to defend, and that's not good news.
Could have been scary. Rosemary opposite of AJ from Thunder Talk. I'll pop out. That was a great placement, and in fact, it's going to end up in a drop. AJ putting in work early on. Full health, mind you. He can truly do a lot of damage to this Alter Egos roster up ahead.
Thunder Talk bolstering their position as well, with King sidling on forwards. Alter Ego trying to pull Rosemary back to his feet there. And they are going to put a lot of investment into it, but Moana, goes for the nade and flushes his own teammate out. That is not a good start for Alter Ego to try and defend this top spot on the table. And now it's Thunder Talk looking to keep this pace going. All 4 of them now in situ, and they can play on a numbers advantage. A little bit split for Alter Ego. Alva under a lot of pressure there. The reload needs to come through. Can he connect with the auto shotty?
He stays in the corner, dodging those jump shots, goes for the retreat, and is successful in getting some distance between them, which means he can reposition and fight the duo of Thunder Talk. That fight's still going to be well underway, and he's going to continue to distance himself, maybe get an off angle onto AJ. It pays off. The down is in, but the 2 members from Thunder Talk are hot on his heels.
They're still on the outside of the wall, though, and with King falling, this means that nobody is forward for Thunder Talk. They're now trapped on the outside, out in the cold, and Thunder Talk are getting rinsed right now.
Rinsed indeed, but I love that angle from King. Alva to play this very, very carefully. Even if ThunderTalk wins this fight, like you said, they are in dire straits, and I really do think that's a huge oversight. This duo should have pushed up on him and taken him down. Having Alpha on that off angle was detrimental to ThunderTalk. Obviously, your duo ends up falling, and now you're leaving. You gain 0 value. The timid fights do not work out if you want to be a champion.
I mean, much like the Omnidroid from The Incredibles, right? The only thing tough enough to take down an alter ego player in this match is themselves. The only thing that has taken one of them down fully is that team nade. And that's not the sort of coordination that you want to see coming on through, especially in Milta Power on a circle like this. You know, it's so important to have everybody alive in a central location in these early circles, right? You want to transition in towards the late game. They've pushed up towards 30 points, though. And they will be okay for the time being and playing on a 3. Not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world, but let's see how that game ends up unfolding. Smile barely, just a nick of health, and manages to get away. Team Secret applying the pressure. Yangon Galactica's Team Secret rotating maybe up north, then dropping down south through Yasnaya. Team Secret could get a drop on them if they continue to progress forward, which could be great for playing a gatekeeper role. For now, just trying to heal up and just really recover. For Team Secret, though, unfortunately, I think they're going to lose at least one into blue, if I'm not mistaken. For Marnat, though, he's moving up.
So are the rest of the team. At least several of them are trying to go in pursuit here, hopping out, going for the spray. Xerus has to divert, send back behind the headland. Is there an off-angle hop out? No. But the blue zone will do a little bit more damage here. We're only at stage 1, so this is very, very survivable on these rotates. It's not really going to do much more to them, and those sims already on the bar there for Xerus mean that he's going to stay very, very healthy here unless a couple more shots connect, which it doesn't look like they're going to. Sending over the north side of the Yaz Lake. I imagine that Yangon Galacticos going to divert. Not too keen to go in behind them, but we'll have to wait and see. The plane path, sorry, the next circle just about to come on through.
Yeah, Yangon Galacticos, I thought we're going to take the roadway and then cut through, but SayCloud has stayed up top. He wants presence behind Team Secret. Meanwhile, the other 3 are in fact going to go in succession down low, and SayCloud does deviate away, maybe wanting to stay in Team Secret's mindsets, but getting tightly contested in the southern portion. And E-Arena versus Falcons, a team that's been on the struggle bus, or E-Arena. I love the way that they've been playing. Granted, today, they've been falling flat, so this fight critical for both rosters.
E-Arena disengaged from that one. They had the numbers advantage. Perhaps they were reading too much into the circle. They thought if we can't conclude this fight immediately, there's a third-party potential. But they had a massive advantage in that fight. Only 2 of the Falcons were on the inside. I'm not too sure about the decision to disengage it, but we'll see how they can play on from here. Meantime, Power looking to rack up even more elims. They're now up to 1 on the tables, and that's going to put them up on 26 with no placement points.
Taking down Noxium Red Force would be huge for them, mind you. I really feel, based off of that last play in the last map where Noxium Red Force had center zone, had the hard cover POI and pushed out, I feel that was a massive oversight, potentially starting to get into their own heads. So for Power, pushing this fight could be big. For Weibo, well, we can't even stay upright. We got 4 wheels. Well, they decide to use 2.
They're going to maintain course, though, self-righting, going all the way out west for a wide wrap from Weibo to go out on that west side bridge. APG, they're ahead. Alpha Gaming will send over that east side bridge, fairly uncontested now, and they are sending up north. Yeah, this is just the continuing long rotate from Weibo to go out to all the way on that west side. They're getting across the bridge. They'll be pushing in from around Potato Hill, but don't expect to see them for another 2 minutes.
That's right. We won't see them for a long time. For APG, well, you saw what the game plan was. They were setting up to gatekeep Weibo. So this long rotate, in my opinion, was critical for Weibo. They only had one choice, and that was to take the western side bridge. For APG, they don't see any Weibo members. Okay, we move on out and start to progress towards Milta, maybe towards Power. Meanwhile, though, we do have Regnum Karya potentially setting up a trap on Hora, who's going to be up just ahead. A team that played so well through the early stages, now struggling today.
I mean, they're sequestered right up into the cliffs over Prison. It does severely limit their sightlines here for Regnum Karya. They're going to have to try just gather that info from the sound. They have got that outpost Silas a little bit disparate from them. Will be rotating around, feeding back a little bit more info. But for the time being, they are a little bit crunched in here. Hora a little bit less so. They've got a little bit more leeway on the side of that Prison cliff face. Teams trying to get central. Nobody really getting too aggy with it just now. It's only ThunderTalk who have lost 2 players and a couple of those earlier elims coming on through as well.
See DRX off in the distance. They've got a couple of teams in their line of sights. Like you said, nobody getting aggro just yet. We see a zone shift up towards the north for the majority of teams that are already pretty much sequestered where they currently are for the rosters like Power, APG, ThunderTalk, the duo, Alter Egos. Weibo finally starting to get their first member out of the blue zone as they head up towards north through school. Maybe even towards getting on Galacticus, but everybody rotating in. I'm hearing a lot more shots this time around. No surprise for Falcons. Oh, I'm hoping Regnum Karya does not crash into him, and it looks like they're not going to. Even Silas taking too much damage for his own good.
Yeah, crashing in on that position with the number of third parties available, maybe a death sentence, but instead they turn over towards the dip, and it's 4 Thrives who are eating left and right. That is nasty. The team from Pakistan is going to be eliminated very, very quickly.
4 Thrives get melted off the map. You know, a team that dominated throughout group stage, struggling today. We questioned those days off throughout survival stage. Would it be helpful? Would it not? Well, for 4 Thrives, they need to get their legs back underneath them. But Power's also rotating in. Ragnar taking a ton of damage. We got Wild also falling. Ragnar now down. Haji getting active. Ida's gonna fall. It's just a mass amount of teams and bodies on the ground in this area. Haji getting the cleanup. Starkin up ahead. Cooking a nade, and this nade, if placed right, could be devastating to Power.
Darkin unleashes it over towards Fadan. The bounce is good, and it will connect for the knock. Haji now, the last player alive for Power. They have 4 elims. They'll want a little bit more, and he's now got a nade cooking. They know where Ida is playing, and nobody's getting out of this dip unscathed. The nade goes long, and Darkin pushes forwards. Haji around the smoke, goes for the spray, and of course he connects it. But there's the shutdown from the off angle. Fireflux shut everything down, and there is no one alive.
We just lost 4 teams in the span of about 45 seconds.
That was insane. 4 teams went that dip, and none of them got out of it. It was insane.
Wow.
It was being held, I believe, originally by 4 Thrives.
Yes.
Then both Regnum Karya and Ida crashed in at the same time, and then Power lapped in over the top. Wow. Fireflux were just like, this is ridiculous, guys. You need to chill out. They put them in the cooler.
Right.
No placement points, but they still got 5 elims on this match.
It's such a bummer, though, for Power because Haji is the last one standing. He's the champion of the team fights. 4 teams in one area, and then Fireflux says, hey, good job, buddy. I got you. Takes him right down. Either way, like you said, 5 elims. You got to be happy with that for Alter Egos at 5 themselves. And, of course, another zone shift going to be taking place. But, yeah, that was probably one of the craziest fights we've seen today.
Absolutely insane stuff. A hard south shift, and this is going to help out teams like DRX, like Falcons, if they can hold their nerve out in the open. A lot of open ground, right? We saw how difficult it is to approach this Falcons position. When it gets closer and closer on the circle, it gets slightly easier, right? Because there's fewer and fewer positions that sit around them that can take those third-party shots. There's fewer teams that are potentially going to third-party on towards you. So Falcons, their strength is really good right now in terms of position, but that will start to falter when the teams around them start to get involved, start to get dropped. But I'm expecting to see them into this one deep, potentially up to stage 6.
I was looking at this ThunderTalk. We see a replay coming in. This is the team secret fight versus Alter Egos, and Xerus is putting in work, but it was Krypton who was able to even up the odds, silence Team Secret, and send them packing to the next game. Weibo, ThunderTalk finally back on your screen, and, well, not for long as one is taken down immediately.
PEL derby right now between Weibo and ThunderTalk, but it seems pretty clean, done and dusted. 3 players alive for Weibo and 1 for ThunderTalk. Together they make a full team, but there's no cooperation here. It's Xing sending off into the horizon.
Xing is gone. ThunderTalk's been in survival mode since the early goings of this game. 2 eliminations. You're not too happy with that. Maybe some placement points will help you out. Doc with a great angle. Maybe surprise some members from DRX up ahead if you can get a line of sight on them. Nobody can be seen just yet, but Doc is a guy that sneaks